And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Digital Fiasco Live for another lovely Monday. My name's Dandr0id.
And I'm Jack McBastard. This is Digital Fiasco Live. Episode 50.
Holy shit, really?
5-0. 5-0
Wow.
since we went to video.
Okay, so that really snuck up on me then. Because I remember, like, you calling all the 40 ones and everything like that. I'm like, I gotta keep an eye out for that. And, well, here we are at episode 50.
Good job. You're doing terrific.
Yeah. Keep it up. All right, and there we go. We got the chat up.
And no
And our
backdrop.
wallpaper's not up. There always has to be something wrong.
Always one thing.
Mark that down on your bingo cards, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, looks like our... I need to fix our chyrons as well next week.
Yeah. Or are they staggered this time again?
And Jack gets up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jack gets up. That's a space on that bingo card. Oh, and apparently our GeForce Game Ready driver is available too.
Oh, that's important.
Oh, Commander Santa's bingo! Sorry, Santa, I don't know what you win. We'll have to check in the prize bag to see what we have.
There we go.
Yay, our wallpaper works.
Okay.
That's unfortunately not a space on the bingo card.
It is not, unfortunately, which is weird because I thought I had activated that. So
Oh, go away, Discord.
we're off to a super professional start tonight.
Yep.
Glad that everyone is
Just
here.
fixing shit on the air. But yes, welcome to everyone in the chat.
Oh,
We love
good
your
Lord.
faces, and glad you're here right at the top of the show.
This is ridiculous for a Monday. This is like...
A Monday is always ridiculous, though. That's the way it works.
Yeah, but this is what causes people, I don't like Mondays, the song, to go a little bit postal. Good God.
Did Garfield have a podcast? Is that why he didn't like
Quite
Mondays?
possibly. So let's try that again.
Yes.
We have this up.
Yes.
We have
The chat up.
shitty chyrons, apparently, which at some point maybe I'll go fix. And the chat is up. So
Yep.
This is Digital Fiasco Live, episode 50.
Yes, we made it.
Yes,
50 episodes.
Yes. For the last 50, it's been coming. So, for December the 3rd, 2018. So, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
You know what? It's I don't know. I got through Monday. It went pretty quick, so probably one of the best Mondays of the year then, because I didn't notice it.
Commander Sanchez says he got the free space, so I know he's lying, because that's Albel puns. I know that much.
Yeah, you liar. You don't have a bingo.
Yeah.
The free space is Elbow Puns, which means you'd have to wait until Tuesdays for Comic Sans.
God damn it. All right.
Unless
Sorry.
he has a card from last week.
I don't think he has a card from last week or the week before.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad today.
Yep.
Really flew right by. But yeah, I guess the shitty part was I was so fucking busy last week
Gotcha.
that I didn't have any time to do any gaming.
So you did not advance in Le Serge?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And believe me, I was like fiending for it too, because I came home like late on Sunday night, and I was like, oh, maybe I could sneak in a couple hours. But
Do you have any idea how close you are to the end?
I think I'm halfway through the game.
Halfway?
But that was also with playing a bunch of the DLC too,
Okay.
so that added a lot of time onto it.
So
because
really-
again, it's not one of those ones where it's just like, oh, level done, I'm out of here. Like you sit there and you hammer away on it. So
So you have absolutely no idea is what I'm hearing.
yeah, basically, because again, it's one of those games where we had talked about it last week, where just like a Souls game,
Yep.
rather than just having like separate level after separate level, you're actually retracing your steps a lot. And as you do that, there's going to be enemies that you faced before that go down like super easy because they're like such low level, or you already know how they attack, so it's easier to kill them. And I feel like there's going to be a few sections where the level that I'm on is literally going to be run to this room that you've already been to and do a boss fight.
Gotcha.
So that'll like cut a big chunk of time out of the game. But yeah, I'm definitely I would like to really finish that up the next week or two, just
Yeah.
because I don't know, I borrowed Detroit from you and still haven't even touched it. And of course, there's the pile of shame that's on my
yes.
counter, and got to play some other stuff.
My
so.
pile of shame is just growing by the day.
I
It's
mean,
ridiculous.
I think you have 3 storage lockers for your pile of shame now.
And I mean, just the stuff that's coming out today, in addition to everything else I already have, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so not a lot on my end, but we were talking quickly before the show, and you said you bought some stuff off
Yes.
Steam.
I don't even remember what it was. It was $1, but before we go on, Tron
Yes.
says he got most of Fallout 76's trophies done. Then he played RDR2 and probably fell asleep again.
You actually spent enough time in Fallout 76 to get most of the trophies?
I don't know what the trophy list even looks like for that, so I assume they're relatively easy.
I was going to say they're either easy or very few, or you are way more dedicated than like 90% of the people that are actually playing that game right now.
Quite possibly all three, actually. You never know.
All three of them.
Oh, and,
all three fans that are playing the game.
and apparently Tron's already hit level 100, which is ridiculous.
Shit. I did hear that there was a trick. They've probably already patched it out, but apparently one of the things you can gain XP off of is you can disarm traps. And if you get to level 20 or 21, you get like the highest level of trap disarmament, which means they instantly just disarm and you get XP for it.
Yeah.
But apparently there's parts in the map where traps don't disappear when you disarm them. So you can literally sit there and just mash the button for like an hour straight and get to like level 90 in like, 45 minutes or something.
PowerPix has a video about the exploit. Teaches you
there
how
we
to
go,
do it.
yeah.
So go check that out.
So I don't know if they patched it out yet. If they haven't, get on that because you're going to get some crazy levels for like basically doing nothing.
Not as yet. Yeah, it is too early because it's in the news, James.
Yeah, that is in the news. So you're going to have to wait to talk about Canvas Bag Gate.
Yes.
These just keep getting worse all the time.
Exactly. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about, though, is one thing that I have been playing this week.
Yes.
Is that this week, my first week away from Red Dead.
Yes, so you've escaped that. I mean, not that it's a bad game, obviously. It's like one of the games of the year, type of things, but you've played enough of it.
I've played enough. Like, after 4 weeks in a row of doing guides, plus, like, the week before it actually came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had
Like,
enough.
you wrote a guide for every single achievement, everything in it. You took over 2,000 screenshots.
It was ridiculous.
You have done your time with Red Dead.
Yes.
So, what did you escape to?
Well, this week I had an opportunity to try out some new stuff, and I played a couple of things, and one of which I'm not going to talk about yet.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that one during our near misses section.
Oh, okay.
Because that was not an enjoyable time.
And it was something you were looking forward to, though? Or was it just like
in theory.
On a whim, you...
We'll come back to that, why it was on my radar, but it isn't anymore.
All right.
But I also came back, and coming out tomorrow, and we'll talk about that during our Triple D section, for PS4 and Xbox is Subnautica.
Oh, yes.
And so I've been writing the review for it. That's going to be up on PSU.com tomorrow when the embargo ends. But I've been given permission to actually talk about it today, and I can't actually rate it, but I can give you my impressions of the game. And so far...
so you give it a blank out of 10, but tell us about the game.
Something out of 10. It's a fairly large number, but it's actually a really good port. They did a fantastic job porting it from the PC to the PS4. If you're at all familiar with the PC version, you can easily pick up and drop into the PS4 game, and immediately nothing has changed in terms of what you have to get or where you have to go. They did a really good port. It runs very, very smooth.
Top of the list, speaking as a PC port to PS4.
Yes.
How is the controller integration?
Good.
It's good? Not great?
Well, I mean, like anything where a mouse is the primary form of input, it is less natural than a mouse, but for what it is good.
But do they make the joystick function like a mouse when you're in a menu?
No,
or do you flick through all the options and it highlights everything?
You need the kind of precision for moving through things because you're doing a lot of crafting, you're doing a lot of assembling.
Right.
Yeah, so your Destiny mouse, which frankly drives me insane.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I'm not a fan of mice in console gaming. Just make it so that you can flip through everything with a highlighted square or rectangle or whatever, and just do it that way.
If you're going to function as a mouse, give me an actual mouse integration.
Yeah, exactly.
But, anyway, I'm one of those. I'm not about to talk about Alpha Protocol, not anymore. Anyway, not until they actually release a second one, which they probably won't. But anyway, so the game itself, if you haven't played Subnautica, I think I talked about it a fair bit about the PC version, but essentially you are in a spacecraft that crashes on this alien world, and it's literally 90% ocean.
Yeah.
So immediately you're in this life pod that's on fire. You have to come to terms with your immediate situation, put out the fires, look outside, and it's like, oh, fuck, I'm screwed.
It's basically on par with my worst horror nightmare situation.
Yeah. If you're not real good with the possibility of drowning and limited air and swimming out with sometimes there is no bottom to see. Yeah, so it's going to evoke a lot of fears.
Because I've seen a lot of Let's Plays of it, and I'm like, it looks wonderful
it is.
in it, like when it's, that kind of 10 to 50 feet deep kind of section where the sunshine comes through and there's a nice coral reef and nothing tries to bite your face off for the most part.
There's a fair amount of things to bite your face off.
They kind of nibble on your face.
There is a few things like the giant, not the reapers, which were weird teleporting things.
I mean like in the shallows. Like once you get into the deep, there are fucking nightmares down there.
They're the stalkers that have the big sort of protruding snout.
Yeah.
They'll chew on you a little, but good news is you can drop like some metal scrap and they'll go for that instead because it's shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Break
for the shinies.
And it breaks their teeth off, which you use for crafting.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are significantly larger things as you go further and further out or deeper, and they will eat your subs or your little shuttle things. There's something you get to start with. Once you can build what they call a sea moth.
Oh, yes.
Is their little space saucer looking thing.
Yeah.
Your whole game opens up. It's like a whole other game.
Absolutely. It's like getting your first car because you're much more mobile. You don't have to worry about breathing because it has its own air supply and everything.
Also, you don't have to go back to the surface to recharge on your air.
That too.
Yeah. That is huge. But till then, you're scrounging for the first little bit. Plenty of times you'll go into a cave, and if you don't have a flashlight, if you haven't crafted that yet, sometimes you get turned around inside the cave. You don't know where the way is out again, and you just drown.
Yep, that's...
Yeah. And then you'll just have to go and pick up your corpse, sort of.
Yeah.
Good evening, fuck you.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the chat.
I prefer to think that he's a Letterkenny fan, and that's like a tribute
I'm sure
to fuck you.
I'm sure he'll let us know if he is.
If not, it's a neat coincidence. So you should check out Letterkenny. But anyway, so not only is it large horizontally, eventually, as you get the ability to go deeper and through caves, and there's like large underground sections.
Yeah.
You have to reinforce your submarine so that it can go deeper and deeper. So to start off, it can go on, only the crush depth is about 200 meters. Then it goes down to 300 meters with your first upgrade. Then you get 2 other upgrades that improve on that one. So you go deeper and deeper. Eventually, you have to build like the really big sub.
Yeah, like the behemoth or whatever the hell it's called.
It's called a Cyclops.
Right, the Cyclops, yeah.
It's effectively a big floating base. So you actually get in it, you drive it. There are rooms you can build, like lockers and stuff.
Yeah, storage units. You can have your plants in there so you can eat and your water purifier and everything.
And you can actually dock the sea moth in it. Yeah, which is fantastic.
I just the smoothness and the just the design behind those few vehicles that you have. I was just blown away by that because they look so professional and they fit together so well. I love how they built all that stuff.
Don't listen to Jay Tanuki. Letterkenny is amazing.
Well, it's a 50-50 split on this show. So.
Well, it's nothing to do with that. You can check out all the people who like it online. You know, they're not in their 5th season because the show sucks. Anyway, actually, 6th season starts Christmas Day. Yeah, so you can check that out.
Cheap to produce.
Crave TV.
Okay, we're not sponsored.
Anyway, we should be.
Check out mypillow.com. Not sponsored.
Anyway. So I've been playing. There was a bit of an issue at first, but there was a pre-day one patch that corrected it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any problems after that patch. So anyone who plays the game now won't experience kind of the weirdness.
Was it just like running a little sluggish?
It was just one of the things that I needed to build the repair tool, which is something you need early in the game.
Yeah.
Sulfur. It spawns in a very unusual way.
Oh, right. Yes, I know that one. Yeah.
So there's like what they call a sulfur plant, which is like a bulbous thing that unloads like kind of like an alien egg.
Yeah.
And this thing pops out called a crash fish because they live there. And I don't know the science because it's fake science, but it swims out and it comes right after you and it explodes.
It's like a swimming grenade, basically.
Yeah, gets too angry and it blows up. So I don't know how that lives in nature, but maybe that's how they procreate. They just blow up and then there's hundreds of eggs everywhere. I don't know. But so afterwards, you're supposed to be able to go into the sulfur plant and harvest actual sulfur.
Yeah.
But it wasn't spawning. So the 1.03 patch came out a couple days ago. Everything's fine. And haven't had that issue since. So that's good.
I honestly think they had the exact same issue on PC too.
Maybe it's the same issue, and they just hadn't made that adjustment from the code. Who knows?
Yeah,
it would make sense. But long story short, the game is running really well. I'm having a blast with it, and it has some of the enhancements that came from the 1.0 patch that I haven't actually played with before. So I'm just following along the storyline now, like finding all the other pods that had crashed, finding out that there's a little something else that's going on.
Yeah.
Eventually you get infected with this alien pathogen from eating the fish and drinking the water, and then it takes on a whole other plot line that you have to follow up on.
Yeah.
And you know,
I
don't want to spoil it for anyone, but
I found it amazing just how deep and well written the story is for what appears to be just another kind of like survival crafting style game.
Yeah, no, definitely.
There's handfuls of those games out there, and typically it'll drop you somewhere, give you an axe or give you a knife or something like that. You have to eat, you have to drink water, you have to cut trees down, shit like that.
Right.
But outside of that, you're kind of up to your own facade or whatever. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want, and there's not really anything driving you for it other than just survive. Like, this one, you want to survive because there is interesting stuff happening all the time.
Yes.
And as you get deeper into the lore and deeper into what happened, you're driven forward because you want to know what the fuck's going on.
Well, I mean, everything's got to have a ticking clock of some kind. Otherwise, you just sit in the starting area and build your tiny little wooden shack. Underwater wooden shack.
Well, and that's where a lot of these ones fail because they figure, people love survival games. Well, they need that extra kind of bump to get them going.
Hey, I love survival games too, but let me tell you, I got to build C-Lab 2021 as big as it will go. Because that's the other thing, too. The mechanics of the underwater base are fantastic.
Yes.
Because as you add stuff more and more onto it, if it's not stabilized properly or reinforced properly, you will reduce the strength of your base to the point where any kind of impact will cause it to start springing leaks.
Yeah.
And you will flood your base.
Exactly. And you can like bump into it with your sub and stuff like that, or fish can attack it and like slam into it.
Very true. Very true. So anytime that happens, you have to run around inside your partially flooded base and seal up all the cracks before it'll pump the water out.
Yeah.
You also have to deal with power, so if you have like solar panels to start with.
Yeah, if you're near the surface, you can catch a solar light, but if you build the base at the bottom of the ocean, then it's like...
You get nuclear power, or you can get an organic reactor that you fill with various things that are organic, like, fish and plants.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, random bodies that
and then I find the funniest thing about that is that, like, you're building this base, you can, like, build doors and windows, and you can hang up, like, a cat poster and stuff like that, and just, like, fun little things like that. But the funniest part to me is that you can have an aquarium inside your base.
Yeah, well, you can do farming, and you can do actual, like, I guess, fish husbandry.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can actually grab like eggs of some of these different fish and just throw them in your fish tank, and then you come back like a week later and it's like, I have fish.
So in the chat, of course, we have James Marine and Tron doing various subs. So James Marine's saying, give me a map and a stopwatch, I can navigate the Himalayas. That's Red October. Now remember, that's James Earl Jones. Now remember, you heard that torpedo hit the hull and I was never here. Actually, all three of those are Red October. Yeah. And of course, James Marine would have liked to have seen Montana.
It is one of the most famous sub movies of all time. Plus, it had Sean Connery in it.
I'm surprised we didn't have one Crimson Tide reference at all, or a Das Boot. We want to talk about famous sub movies. Das Boot is a big one, but yes. Jay Tanuki says you always enjoyed the variety of creatures in Subnautica and just the visual of the water from above the surface. It is very realistic, especially like the depth effect, depending on how the water changes, because in various areas it'll change sort of quality. It'll be clear and blue, and then you'll get in around all the weeds.
Yeah,
and it'll turn to this sickly greenish
color. It's kind of
color.
murky and everything.
Yeah.
And you have the when you're near the surface, you get the God rays coming through, and even when you break the surface, the way it like goes around the windshield, around your mask, and everything like that. It just obviously in a game based on a like water planet, the water physics had to be really, really good, and they definitely they nailed it.
Yeah, and it's always fun as well to with your sea moth. Come hit the surface very, very quickly. You actually do go airborne a fair bit.
Absolutely.
That little sucker can go flimsy as hell when it gets grabbed by those giant fish. But I think they are the Reapers. They're like huge things, and they have
the mandibles, and they actually grab your sub and like shake it around.
Yeah, grab your sea moth, and of course alerts start happening, and things start sparking, and then you have to get out and manually repair your ship before this thing comes back and nibbles your bum. So so I'm having a lot of fun with Subnautica. The full review will be out tomorrow on PSU.com. Suffice to say, I will be giving it a high mark, but the exact mark will remain nameless.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Great game. Check it out tomorrow. And while we're talking about things that are coming out tomorrow,
Yes.
let's switch to the Triple D
Okay.
and see what we have. What are your picks for this week?
For disc downloads and DLC this week, one of the top of the list, I just gotta say this because it's fucking hilarious, and I didn't even know that they would make something like this, but Astrology and Horoscope Premium? Is that even a thing?
See, I did not even mark
Did you
that
have to
down.
get a horoscope on your PlayStation? I don't know.
I mean,
It's just, I had to say it because it's so fucking weird. I didn't even know they did something like that.
premium versus the free version?
I guess so. It's like they tell you half of your horoscope, like, today you will blank. What'll happen? I need to know.
Yeah.
Only $4.99 a month.
It's film at 11.
And another one that just totally caught my eye, just because Red Dead came out a couple weeks ago.
Okay, keep talking.
They had this game come up, and I'm like, well, they must have released this just because, they want to be hot on the heels of Red Dead, and they may have themselves a game of the year here. It's called Guns and Stories Bulletproof VR. This literally looks like the screen for it literally looks like it's from a smartphone game, but it's apparently a VR game. So I don't know. Just again, thought that one was hilarious. But getting into the real stuff, if you are a fan of weird mystery sneaking around games and you have Hello Neighbor, the first bit of DLC comes out of that. So it's Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, and that one comes out on the 7th. So that would be this Friday, I believe. One of our anti-releases from, I think, about a month ago, we have Jagged Alliance Rage finally coming out, because that one got pushed back.
See, I don't know that one was actually pushed back, because I had it 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might be another same situation like Destroy All Humans, where it was on the site, but they took it down afterwards.
Oh, one of those, yes.
But
because this is digital and retail, so
Yeah.
that one comes out on Thursday.
I had purchased it, but didn't actually play much of it. Just played the first little bit of it because I had a bet with one of the editors at PSU that it was just a pre-order. And I'm like, no, it's going through. And I started the game up, and I have a couple trophies from whatever time.
Oh, and hello, Zwinli. Hi, welcome to the chat. And thank you. I do like to think myself cool sometimes. so-
Zellini?
Zellini?
Zellini.
Yeah, I know. It's all green and it's really blurred together, so... Oh, there we go. And thank you very much for that follow. Oh, I like the new Chiron for that, too. That looks really sharp.
Yeah, that's not the final version yet, but yes, it is sharp. I like that.
But yes, carrying on in the Triple D here. So, of course, one of the big ones, we've been leading up to it.
Yes.
One of the biggest, last releases of the year, Just Cause 4. I am so looking forward to this one, because I love me some action games like that. And it's always ridiculous fun.
Well,
You get your parachute, your wingsuit, and your grappling hook.
yeah.
And they're like, go have fun, children.
You know what? I mean, if you look at the trophy list, I'm fairly high up on the list of people who got the Just Cause Platinum first for Just Cause 2.
Right.
Just Cause 3, for whatever reason, I have still not finished. It didn't grab me.
See, and that was the weird part, again, that Just Cause 2, I played some of. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I think it was a little limited in what it could do. They put, it's like they put all of the resources into making the map, and then kind of forgot about some other parts of the game.
Like the plot.
And how you buy weapons, and the story, the story overall, the characters, everything like that. So yeah, that one was kind of unfortunate. Whereas 3, it's a very well built, just well done game. It flows along nicely in the story. It's a lot easier to get weapons and vehicles. It looks gorgeous because, again, it's an upgrade from an early age game to basically a next gen game. So yeah, that one is absolutely worth playing. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to Just Cause 4.
I believe the exclamation point merch will give you the link.
Oh, okay.
But
I think you can click on it below too. Isn't there a link for that?
I believe there's a link also below.
Okay, yeah.
But in any case, J2Nuki was there with the
and then
URL, so
another one I think we had talked about a little while ago was The Last Remnant.
Indeed.
Remastered. So the digital comes out on Thursday.
Which I've never played. I don't know that I have the time for a JRPG anymore unless I know for sure.
It's always tricky these days, especially when you have a huge backlog to play through, because you're always tempted by these things, because the game is obviously remastered for a reason. It's a fan favorite, so yeah.
Well, so was Final Fantasy 12.
Okay, let's not go there.
I'm just saying. I mean, yes, they corrected the biggest problem that I had with it, which was Vaughn's distressing abs. his literally washboard abs.
Wait. That was the worst problem.
That was
with
the
12.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was definitely the thing that I kept going like, oh, what is this? Because he had
What is on his stomach?
he had like a chitinous exoskeleton where his abs should be. And it literally looked like it was carved, like he had concave abs.
Yeah.
It was weird. Anyway.
Yes, another one that's coming out that I really want to check out because of all the history that we've had with reviewing, what was the other one? This is Monster Boy?
Yes.
So what was the other one?
Wonder Boy.
Or Wonder Boy,
In
yes.
Monsterland.
In Monsterland, that's
Yes.
why I got it confused.
Yes, that's why they're hoping you're going to confuse it, because it is actually from the guy who designed that series, Ryuichi Nishikawa.
Okay, so that makes more sense, too.
Ryuichi, excuse me, Nishikawa.
So it's his own like newer
Nishizawa.
version of the same game.
Well, he
basically?
doesn't own the rights to it anymore, so he's doing it himself through like an indie company, and Sega still owns the rights to Wonder Boy, which they then license out to Lizard Cube.
Right, yeah.
That's how it goes.
It'll be interesting to see how this one
Yes.
turns out, because the art looks amazing, and if it is from one of the original creators, then
This is like
there
Mighty-
obviously some heart put into that too.
Well, I mean, that's what we said about Mighty Number 9.
Okay,
and-
they can't all win, but you know they're not all going to lose either.
but this one looks like it could be good.
Yeah, like I've seen some video of it, and it does look like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
One that I don't know if we're allowed to talk too much about, but Mutant Year Zero. Road
That's
to
out
Eden.
tomorrow.
Okay, so that one. So have you got a chance to play any of
I have
it
not
yet?
played it yet. I mean, now that Subnautica goes out tomorrow, I'll have a chance to dig into that one.
So there you go. So you can look forward to Jack giving some info maybe next week on that one. So Mutant
Indeed.
Year Zero, Road to Eden. You said it looked like Howard the Duck mixed with XCOM.
It looks really entertaining, but yeah, just the idea that these mutant animals, it kind of has like almost a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe, like from the Palladium role-playing game.
Yeah.
Where they had all the different animal mutations and stuff, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they had fun with that one.
Yep.
This next one is actually an indie one that's been getting a lot of hype. As soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, I need to buy that when it comes out. And that was like a couple months ago.
Is it Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight?
No, it is not, but that's coming up next. Override Mech
Yes.
City Brawl.
Yes.
This looks like War of the Monsters with crazy, creative, like weird fucking kaiju robots just
Yeah.
destroying the fuck out of a city. And it looks like a ton of fun. Like, these guys clearly had fun building this one, and it's got like insane multiplayer, and the robots just look. Oh my god! I want to play all of them.
Tron's absolutely correct. He says Jack buying a game and having time to play the game have no correlation with each other, which is also why I've never finished Monster Hunter World.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Again, as you said before, for the Persona fans out there, and I know there's a lot of them. This is not a weird thing for them. There's a lot of Persona fans that are very much looking forward to these. So Persona 3 Dancing in the Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. And they have a bundle pack where you can get both of them for one lower price, I guess.
There you go.
And that's in digital and retail.
Fuck you says the art style of Mutant Year Zero looks great, which I agree with. Override Next City Brawl is looks so fun, so interesting, something new and fresh. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I want to play that one. That one and Pizza Titan Ultra.
Oh, yes, I still have to get my hands on that one. And then, of course, as we've all known, it's, one of the worst kept secrets of the year, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So PUBG is finally officially
Never heard of it.
coming to PS4 on Friday.
Never heard of it.
As far as I know, is that one like free to play now, and then you just pay for?
No.
I don't know if they've changed to that model yet or not.
No, it's not like Fortnite. I'm pretty sure that Fortnite is free to play, but this one's still yet.
Because I know the
purchase.
mobile version is
Yes.
free to play, but I guess
Yes.
the console version is still doing
Yes.
its thing.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's my
I don't
list for
think
the Triple D this week. So do you have anything to add to that one?
Couple things. Thronebreaker, Witcher Tales. That's out as well for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That's the weird Gwent adventure.
Oh yes,
thing.
yeah.
It's not quite a RPG Witcher style game, but it is. I don't know. It's largely a Gwent delivery system, is my understanding. Still, I have to get back and play that whole series, so I was not looking at this one at all. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out on Friday.
Oh, yes, of
for
course.
the Switch.
Yeah, my bad. Of course
Yes.
that one comes out, because, yes, half of Reddit is screaming their faces off about it right now.
I understand that we're, sponsored by PSU.com effectively and hosted by them, so go check out PSU.com for the other releases. But, Smash Brothers.
Yeah. I'm totally looking forward to it. I love the Smash series. I've played the shit out of all of them. So
I can hate it on another console. Not that I hate it, I'm just no good at it.
I was going to say, it's no Mario Party, is it?
Yeah. I would rather play Smash Brothers for
Of course
sure.
you would. That's what I'm saying. You fucking hate Mario Party.
I'd rather play Damnation.
You'd rather play with razor blades.
Quite possibly. For me, it's the only game the Switch got. Well, Zelda.
And there are a lot of people out there that literally they are going to buy a Switch or have already bought a Switch because they want to play Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Or something like that. There are people who are very specific in what they want to play on that system.
I don't know what it is. I am oddly compelled to buy the Pokemon game. And
absolutely.
I've never played a Pokemon game before.
And I'm actually quite interested. I think that if that happens, we need to stream some of that because I want to see Jack's response and his reactions when he plays a Pokemon game for the first time.
If that happens, I think you need to take a blood sample from me and see how it reacts to fire.
Hey, you said that you were interested in getting it, so if it happens,
I think it's alien or like alien
I want to
influence.
be there. I want to be there when you're playing the game.
All right, fair enough.
Because it'll be very interesting to see. Yeah, there we go. Dandr0id and Jack versus Pokemon coming January 2019.
Jesus Christ. Well, actually, probably before that, we'll have Jack versus Kingdom Hearts. We'll see how that goes first.
Oh, yes. Of course. Stay tuned for that,
All
because
right.
you did get your copy of that.
Yeah, we got a couple of anti-releases as well.
Okay, fire away.
Elder Scrolls Blades, which is the mobile version of the Elder Scrolls games.
Right.
Which actually look pretty good.
It looks sharp for a mobile game, yeah.
Yeah, but that's been pushed back to early 2019. That was supposed to be out this fall.
Oh, really?
They don't have much fall left, so I guess it's
Yeah.
we know that was going to happen. Path of Exile for PS4, which I only just heard was coming out, that's been pushed back till early 2019. It was supposed to be out this December.
Oh, I've just heard it got pushed back.
Yes. So there we go.
Better than Diablo Immortal. Yes.
Yeah, that's a do not trip over that extremely low bar.
It's okay. Yeah, I do have a phone. It's right here, and I'm still not going to play it. So
yeah. All right. So PlayStation Plus for 2018, that's been announced. That starts tomorrow.
Yep.
People with the PS4 will get Soma and Onrush. Soma's like another horror-based wandering kind of game. I hear is supposed to be very good if you're into that kind of thing.
So I'm just going to put an extra note on that one. My cousin actually bought me Soma because he loved it so much and told me to play it. Unfortunately, he bought it for my PC.
Gotcha.
And my PC is a dumpster fire, as we all know.
Gotcha.
So I was unable to play it. Plus, it's a scary-ass horror game, so I was just like really kind of not wanting to play it. The good part about Soma is that about halfway through the life cycle of the game, they actually added a thing called safe mode, where you can play the entire game without scares in it and still experience the entire game. So that's how I'm going to be playing it.
Kind of interesting that you mentioned that. We were talking before about Satisfactory, one of my other big anticipated games in next year. They have an Arachnophobia mode in it, where if you are afraid of spiders, instead of the giant spider things, it replaces it with like pictures of cats.
Oh, really?
Like cat memes.
Oh, fuck. I would just play it like that anyways.
I mean, it might be entertaining, but it's interesting that that's the way they're doing things in games now. Anyway, a couple things for PS3 which are remarkably similar, but I do not know the difference. Starbreeze, which I think is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, I think.
Okay.
And Steins Gate, I believe, is an RPG of some kind.
Yeah, it's a JRPG.
Sure, why not? We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Also, for the PS Vita, we have one thing. PS Vita for Papers, Please, which I don't think has a PS4 version, which is unfortunate because that's an excellent game.
There was a lot of people saying, oh, where's the cross-play on that?
That's unfortunate.
It's such a great game.
It's an unusual game, and it's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
And everyone who has a Vita will definitely have to play that.
It's brilliant in its simplicity.
Yeah. The other one being Iconoclast, which does have crossplay with PS4, and that's a great game.
Okay, all right. PSA for everyone watching right now. If you have not played Iconoclast and you have a PS4, download that fucking game and play it. It is absolutely spectacular. It is one of my games of the year.
PSA for people who have a PS4, go right now. Today is the last day to download Yakuza Kiwami.
Oh, that too, yes.
And play that for a month and throw Iconoclast on your back burner. Because Yakuza Kiwami is a better game.
You throw it up front and you fucking play that game.
Yakuza Kiwami, better game. It has a chicken that manages your real estate. Actually, that's Yakuza 0, but still.
I was going to say, not the same game.
Real estate chicken. Anyway.
James Green, don't be a dick.
Okay, leave the stream and download. Okay, bye. You all. All right, games with gold for December. Cube 2 is going to be out. It'll be available from December 1st to 31st. That's for Xbox One. Never Alone, that's available December 16th to January 15th for Xbox One. And then the backwards compatibility, we have Dragon Age 2, which is available from the 1st to 15th. That's for Xbox One and Xbox 360. And Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, that's an original Xbox game. That'll be available from December 16th to 31st on Xbox One and 360.
It'd be really interesting to go back and play like a Mercenaries or Mercenaries 2 just to...
I mean, it was good.
They were fun games. I remember playing online a lot. Yeah.
The second one is I could still play because it's at least a 360 PS3 game.
Right.
The first one...
A little rough now.
Well, I mean, to put it in perspective, the entire model of Matthias Nilsson, the entire model had as many polygons in the first game as his hair did in the second game, just his mohawk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the news.
All right.
It's got a lot of news, and we've actually blown a fair amount of time already. So let's follow up. We got Fallout 76. So
you don't say.
Yeah. So
all right, what do we got this week?
Yeah. Well, it hit the blast crater, and it kind of kept digging. So since last week, the Fallout 76 situation's gotten kind of worse.
Yeah.
If you can believe that. So Bethesda's been searching Reddit for complaints and comments about the game, then copy pasting a generic, oh, I'm sorry that you have this sort of issue and blah, 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 no matter how in-depth or detailed the description was.
Mm-hmm.
So it just gives this impression that they don't give a fuck, and it's just paste. So
did he ask if he had a phone?
They did not. They did not. So that was the first complaint.
It says by searching the complaints, you mean just opening up Reddit? Yeah.
They didn't have to search far.
Like you go to Reddit and you open up that subreddit of 76 and your phone catches on fire, basically.
Yep. Yep. So one of the major complaints, aside from the rampant bugs, which typical for a launch Bethesda game, is the lack of in-game content from level 60 to 100. Maybe Tron can attest to this, but apparently it comes down to farming springs and multiple star legendary mobs. But since there's no high-level area for just the strongest players, you have to go from server to server to server to get the respawns each time.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that seems to be the fastest way. I mean, you can wait, but it's just faster to log out and go to a different server.
You said you have to harvest springs? Like springs?
Yeah, I don't know what... I think those are the things that you have to nuke to cause them to open up.
Oh, okay. So not springs, like a boing boing.
No.
It's like a crafting material or something.
No, not being level 60, I can't
Fissures.
tell that. Fissures. But they said springs. That was the quote in the Reddit, but that's probably what it is.
Oh, is their game term?
They're fissures? Yeah. He's got an anal fissure, I think. Anyway, so he says it's tricky for the people at the end game. They have to put up with the bugs and now have nothing to do. You can fix the bugs, which is nice, but they still have nothing to do. That's Redditor Thermoplug. On top of this, it was discovered the Power Armor edition of the game was supposed to come with a canvas bag, but it shipped with a featureless nylon bag due to cost concerns. The official statement was from a tech support guy or a Bethesda support guy. He says it was a prototype and it was too expensive to make, and we're not planning to do anything about it.
Just straight up not planning to do anything
so
about
then
it.
Bethesda said they tweeted this out after someone reported this. Tweeted this out to apologize to CSR. They said basically the same thing but nicer. So the official thing was Bethesda's store support member is a temporary contract employee and not directly employed by Bethesda or Bethesda GameWorks. We apologize to the customer who took the time to reach out.
And he has been sacked.
The support response was incorrect and not in accordance with our game policy. Unfortunately, due to unavailability of materials, we had to switch to a nylon carrying case in the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. We hope this doesn't prevent anyone from enjoying what we feel is one of our best collector's editions. And they gave all of these grieved people a lovely, whopping 500 atoms worth of in-game currency for their trouble.
Which equates to what in real-world money?
Probably about $5. I don't know what
is it that kind of 1-to-1 ratio?
I don't think it's that simple. I think it's one of those weird Microsoft points things where it's like 800 points equals $10.
So they nickel and dime you on the extra bits and pieces?
Just so it never adds up right. It's the whole hot dog bun equation. I don't know specifically. Maybe Tron can tell us the exact
because I'm sure he's wasted money in that game already.
I don't know that he would. He's typically not the type to buy that kind of in-game nonsense.
Yes, and Texture on canvas is very hard to come by, apparently.
Well, apparently it is, but when they did they actually looked it up, how much the nylon bags cost to make.
Yeah.
Apparently they're roughly 65 cents wholesale.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Nylon bags are pretty fucking cheap. That's why you see them all the time as like promo items and stuff like that.
But apparently the canvas bag equivalent would have been $4 or $5 each. That's a damn shame.
And that, okay.
But hang on, before you lose your shit.
Okay.
As of this afternoon, they announced they are manufacturing replacement canvas bags, and you can submit a ticket to have your nylon bag replaced. You have until, I believe it's the 31st of July. You can check out the link on Bethesda Game Studios' website and open a ticket to replace your shitty nylon bag with the canvas bag that actually was depicted in the advertisement.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
There, crisis averted.
Yes. So they
because what I was going to say is that this canvas bag is the thing that came with what, a $250 collector's edition,
canvas bags.
And it cost like $4 for them to make it.
Yes.
What the fuck? Like, you're buying a collector's edition. Give them something worth fucking buying.
Yeah. All I know is that Bethesda found a way to patch the merchandise.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible?
It's sad and amazing at the same time.
Patching collector's items now. Anyway.
Okay, there we go. So Jay Tanuki's looked it up, and 500 items is in fact
actually,
$5.
Okay,
so.
well, I guess that's reasonable. At least then you can sort of calculate it out in your
It's like
head.
the one-to-one. So that's fair. I like it when they do that. It's when you get into the Microsoft Point Buck thing or whatever. That just... don't
worry.
fucking do that.
Don't worry. I'm sure what you're buying with it has the uneven values.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So everything will be
and
like
then I think one of
$4.99.
One of the funny parts of that, too, I saw in someone's comment. I didn't confirm it exactly, but apparently they gave you 500 atoms in-game, and there's literally a canvas bag that you can buy in the game, and it costs 700 atoms. So it was like extra insult to injury. So I think that's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's horse armor level stupidity.
Yeah.
So a couple patches they have coming out tomorrow, actually. They have a patch that comes out tomorrow. It's going to increase your stash size from 400 up to 600 pounds. It will improve drops for boss fights, like the Scorch Beast Queen. It will fix a glitch that apparently you could get trapped inside your power armor.
Oh my god,
you couldn't
really?
take it off. So your T-76, I guess, like after they blew off your armor, all you'd have is like your little frame.
Yeah.
Which doesn't do much for you, and I think it's still powered, so potentially, at the very least, it probably smelled pretty ripe inside that T-76.
I guess it's realistic.
Yeah.
Technically, if they break your armor, it would be really hard to get out of.
I guess so. And they've changed the respawn, so it doesn't always bounce you back to the shelter, like the original vault.
Oh, okay,
76, it'll respawn at the last point of interest
like
you discover.
checkpoint kind of situation.
Yeah, basically. So there's going to be another patch on December the 11th, which will include push-to-talk on PC, which people have been asking for a lot.
Obviously, yep.
You'll be able to respec your characters after level 50. Your CAMP, which I don't know what it means, but it's the construction tool that allows you to build stuff.
Yeah.
I'm no good with acronyms, but that's typically it's like the GOAT test. It's like everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the thing. It's your.
That's where half the resources went to, is writing acronyms.
Right, basically. So it's your settlement tool, essentially. So that's no longer going to be blueprinted if you join a server where someone's already occupying the space where your camp was originally.
Okay.
So you'll get some options as to what to do. You will also have a new camp feature called Bulldozer, which will allow you to remove small trees, rocks, and other obstructions when you're building, which is good.
See, and that's the type of thing I'm talking about. As the game goes along, it's going to get these quality of life upgrades that just make perfect sense. They just either didn't think of it or they didn't implement it day one or something like that. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, though. That is going to make the game, just that much better.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing they probably should have done originally. But,
I mean, obviously, but as long as they're adding them and they keep adding them,
sure,
the game will eventually get better.
But for added realism, right now the servers are literally a wasteland. So it's unfortunately, I'm waiting for it to come down in price a little bit. Then maybe I'll wade into it. But
it's going to be one of those situations, like I said, you give it about a month after still getting bad reviews and stuff, and you're going to catch it for like half price,
maybe
because they want to get those people in.
It's already at half price now. I'm thinking probably about a year.
Half price.
Yeah, maybe. But they're trying to start
Christmas special.
They're also trying to start a class action lawsuit against Bethesda because the people who were not able to get refunds for the game, like the digital versions of the game.
Right. Yeah.
Now I got a quick question for you. Do you think people should be able to get a refund for a digital version of a game?
I believe so. But I like how Steam did it, where you have to have limited time played.
That makes sense.
Because rather than having that physical copy where you can kind of take a look at it, make sure it's not beat up, it's a physical copy to resell and everything. Obviously, digital, there's like it's not reselling, it's just another digital copy of it. But it should be like limited time. If you play it in under 2 hours and you realize that it's a shit game that you don't want, I think that's more than fair to ask for a refund, especially for a game like this where you can obviously not experience the entire game in 2 hours.
Okay, but if I had gone to a Best Buy and bought a disc, came home for 2 minutes and saw that there were issues with the game, brought it back with the plastic wrapping open, I couldn't get a refund then. So why would a digital copy be any different? If it's open, they will give you a replacement for the original. They're not going to give you your money back.
You get store credit?
I don't think they do that.
It's honestly been so long since I bought one of those that I thought you could get refunds for
no,
that.
Like once the plastic is opened, out of luck. So I don't know why people who are expecting refunds for a digital version of the game are all up in arms. If you buy a physical copy of the game and it's opened, you're out of luck.
It might have been from the fact that Steam does do it. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Because again, I've bought like 99% of my stuff digital over the past few years now. So I didn't even think of that, actually. I thought you could get a refund for that stuff, but
nope. But I guess people should have listened to us to say, whoa, hang on, wait it out a little bit.
But then again, a lot of people just want to pull a class action lawsuit for anything.
Yes, it's true. I don't think they have a leg to stand on, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got an interesting piece of news. There's a new Metal Gear game coming in 2019.
What is it?
Metal Gear.
I don't fucking care. It's probably just a pachinko machine.
It is not a pachinko machine, and it's a game that you're going to want to play.
Don't point at me.
It has just been announced that IDW Games...
Okay, blow my mind. Come on.
IDW Games is creating a Metal Gear Solid board game.
Now you have my attention.
Oh, just wait. It's being created by Emerson Matsushi, which that name might not mean anything to you until you realize that he is the guy that designed Spectre Ops.
Oh, okay.
That stealth game?
Yes.
Yes.
Which we have played multiple times.
Yes. And it is utterly tense.
Mm-hmm.
So if they take anywhere near that kind of level of tension and those mechanics for like hidden movement and whatnot, and put it into a Metal Gear Solid game, that could be amazing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if they went in and took a look at all these kind of stealth-based games, and they said, we like this one the best, we're going to get this guy to work on it.
It's going to be a lot closer to the actual feeling of Metal Gear Solid than like the Risk game.
I would hope so. It's not just a skin over the same fucking game. Yep. But yeah, that is definitely interesting, because we've seen a flurry of video game-based board games just within the last year, really.
I mean, there's only, I think, 2 or 3 days left on the Assassin's Creed one from the guys who did V Commandos.
We had Assassin's Creed. There was Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's going to cost me like over $300.
We got Metal Gear coming out. There was Dark Souls last year. We had a Mega Man board game last year. There was like all kinds of stuff. Like they're going nuts for that.
The Horizon one was from the guys who did the Dark Souls game, and the Resident Evil 2 game.
You own BioShock Infinite, the board game?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so like
that was less good.
That was less good, and that was from a few years back.
It was okay,
still.
but
the Fallout board game?
Oh, I have that too.
Yeah.
Or one of them. There's two of them. There's like a miniatures game, and then there's the exploration kind of Fallout game.
You have the miniatures one?
No, I have the one where you have a board.
One.
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of neat. It's like a quest-based kind of thing. It's kind of cool.
But yeah, just like a flurry of those games. So that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that it's actually, we're getting another Metal Gear that we actually want to play.
Yep. No pachinko at all.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I'll feel a lot less bad about buying this one because only some of that money is going to go to Konami.
Yeah, that's true,
and
too.
not all of the money.
Yeah.
So, #fuck Konami. All right. So, THQ Nordic is basically Sinistar now. It has, again, Katamari'd up a couple extra things. Mm-hmm. It has run down and consumed Carmageddon. Bought the Carmageddon IP from Stainless Games.
Oh.
So the last version was in 2016, Carmageddon Reincarnation, which came out to a 54% on Metacritic.
Yeah, so we'll probably talk more about that later.
Yeah. But that's why they sold the IP after buying it, I think, through a Kickstarter.
Really?
Yeah, so Stainless Games didn't do much with their IP.
No, they really didn't.
So now THQ will eat that and make a new game. So that's kind of interesting because we've seen, again, this huge flurry of THQ Nordic acquisitions. They have 55 games in development, 35 of which have not yet been announced. So
that's like, those are mind-blowing numbers
Yeah.
when you look at companies, like gigantic companies like Activision and EA and Ubi and all them.
yeah.
And then you have this company that just buys up licenses, and they're like, yeah, we're making like 50 fucking games. Don't worry about it.
Well, I think in a lot of them, they're being just used as a publisher. They're not actually developing them internally. I know that THQ Nordic owns like Volition and Gunfire Games, and
Right.
now Coffee Stain, and what's the other one? The guys who did that Wreckfest.
I was going to say Capybara. That's not Capybara.
Anyway,
Bugbear. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I mean, they have their internal studios, but I think they also have a bunch of other independent studios that are publishing through them. So, but yeah, apparently they own 100 IPs now, 100 different IPs.
Coming back strong.
Right. So THQ Nordic CEO Lars Winglefors.
That's a hell of a name.
Wingefors? I really apologize because that is not a correct pronunciation, I'm sure. But he says, out of the more than 100 IPs we own, you shouldn't expect to see sequels from all of them because not all IPs are relevant anymore.
Of course.
So I know that they bought a bunch of them in bulk from THQ back in the day when it went under.
It's like buying a Humble Bundle.
Right.
You're not going to play all those games. You
Can't
just got
all
them
be
for free.
winners. Right. But the ones that they bought specifically, like Kingdoms of Amalur or Time Splitters or Satisfactory or Red Faction, those ones they will invest money in.
Yeah, they bought those for a fucking reason.
Which is good. So Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan and Asia, they hosted their 2018 PlayStation Awards show. I believe it was yesterday. Might have been yesterday or today. I don't know about the time zones.
It's halfway around the world, so
I think
yeah,
it's
always
yesterday
tricky.
by now. It's yesterday by now. And Monster Hunter World received a quadruple platinum prize. They sold over
what?
Quadruple platinum.
Okay.
For over 4 million copies sold in just Japan and Asia.
Wow.
They love their Monster Hunter.
Yeah, like I knew there was a solid fan base there.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that. Like I was thinking to the tune of maybe, 2.8 million or something like that. Maybe that 3 million mark.
No,
that's
they
very
really
impressive.
love it. If you think about it, Persona 5, which was out, I believe, early last year or early this year.
Early last year.
Yeah. It won its first single platinum award this year, as did Last of Us Remastered, and that's been out since 2013.
Yeah.
So, and this is just Japan and Asia. Obviously, they've sold more than that globally. But
Yeah, obviously.
it's interesting that it's taken them this long, whereas Monster Hunter World just blew it out of the water.
That's amazing. I didn't know it sold that well.
It's crazy. It's time for Loot Box Corner.
Oh, do we really have to talk about the boxes?
Yep, because now things are getting serious. The FTC,
are they?
The FTC is stepping in.
Oh, okay.
In the U.S. So the Federal Trade Commission is investigating loot boxes in the U.S., especially anything that will allow people to spend real money on randomized good packages.
Right.
Of various types. New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan spoke at the FTC hearing, citing a recent report by Great Britain's Gambling Commission, found that 31% of children in the country had at one point or another paid money to open a loot box. So they're also talking about Belgium, Japan, other countries that have now put some restrictions on loot boxes,
right.
And EA is trying to get around them.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, given the seriousness of the issue, I think it's in fact time for the FTC to investigate these mechanisms to ensure that children are being adequately protected and to educate parents about potential addiction or other negative impacts of these games. I mean,
like their credit card?
I mean, if you think about it, though, there are parental controls on various things, and you can specify, like, can they go online? Can they play this level of game?
Yep.
Why could that not be just one other setting? Loot boxes, check off, and then lock it with a password.
I think it's that kind of situation where they're going above and beyond because they know the average parent either doesn't understand how to do that or doesn't care enough to do that.
Then whose fucking fault is it? If they're worried about their kid buying these loot boxes, first of all, don't put your credit card on the system. Don't save your credit card. And if you're worried, you have to get involved with what your kid is playing.
Little Timmy can run into the kitchen and grab mom's credit card right out of her purse when she's talking on the phone in the background.
If your kid is stealing shit out of your purse, you have other problems than loot boxes.
I saw a video this week of some kid who literally went on Amazon and he bought himself I think it was like a Switch, and 200 Nerf guns, and like another 100 of something else, like all these random things, because he's just like, I like this, and he just fucking ordered it. And it's the same thing on consoles. We have parental safety locks on consoles for paying, for content, for all that stuff like that. But again, it's up to the parents to learn how to use them and understand, like how effective they are and exactly what they're locking out and everything like that. But it's also that type of situation where you can't just be so mindless about it as a developer and literally just throw these tools on the floor and be like, there you go. We did our part. It's all in your court now. Like it.
Hey, if they give them the option to lock those out from the parental controls, I mean, the onus is on the parents, first of all, to know what their kids are playing and to step in and parent their kids and not just use a machine as a daycare center. First of all, man, do I sound fucking old when I say that. But the point is that if they're stealing shit out of their wallet, loot boxes are irrelevant. They're going to spend it on something. The problem is your kid's a thief. So loot boxes are not the problem here. Your kid is a fucking monster.
No, loot boxes are very much still a problem anyway.
Well, it's just one possible expression of a larger criminal behavior.
You're basically, I don't want to go into it too much, but you're basically feeding them an addiction at a very young age.
The kid could go to the corner store and buy tacos out of a box. I mean, they could spend that money on anything.
No, because I've been watching some stuff recently about like advertising to kids and how it works on cartoons, or it used to work on cartoons with channels, and they had the whole Jake Paul thing of him like advertising merchandise in his videos and everything like that. And this is literally the same situation, except it gets around it because it's a game. It's not a cartoon or a TV show or something like that. So it's the exact same thing. You are advertising merchandise in the product that you are advertising to kids.
But it's not actually a product, and
it's absolutely a product. It's a game.
No, the game is not the product. The downloadable, it's like the microtransactions of the product.
It's part of the game. It's merchandise. It is literally advertising in its own game. This
is why you have to teach your kids the value of $1 and give them an allowance. And when they spend their allowance, you're fucking too bad. Mow my lawn.
5-year-old Timmy doesn't even fucking know what allowance is.
Then 5-year-old Timmy
needs
needs
what money is.
5-year-old Timmy needs some time in the mine. That's what I gotta say about that.
There you go. I heard it from old man Jack. Timmy needs to get in that mine.
Back in my day, I don't know when I started mowing the lawn as a kid. But
Either way,
there comes a point where, I mean, at the point at which I know what a credit card is and how to use it, I am old enough to have a job of some kind, even if it's just around the house for random dollars.
Kids are smarter than you think.
Well, then kids need a good beating. That's what I say. Because, any kid that's going into your purse and stealing your shit does not understand, you work for a living, you work hard for the money, and now I'm singing a song.
No, anyways. Goes beyond that. I have my belief. You have your belief. Fuck loot boxes. # fuck loot boxes. So
I think we can agree on that at least. But I think at the point at which your kid is thieving from you, that's a whole other issue. Anyway, so ESRB is also going to add a indicator in the ratings that says this will contain in-game transactions as well.
Doesn't it already do that?
I
feel like every time I download one of those games, the first screen you see is even on the App Store itself, in the first description paragraph, it says this game contains in-game purchases.
In the App Store, it does for like mobile games, but it's not like an ESRB thing. Now it'll be like on your physical boxes, T for teen, blah, blah, blah.
Yep, # fuck loot boxes, fuck Konami. Yeah, for good measure. There you go.
Man, if Konami ever made loot boxes.
They did. It's called a pachinko machine.
I guess that's true, yeah. But it's perfectly legal because you're just winning steel balls that are, of no value at all.
You throw them at people.
Never mind that place next door.
Apparently, when you go into a pachinko parlor, it is like the seventh ring of hell on your ears. Like,
I bet. I bet. Just the clacking of everything, all the bells and lights.
There are literally like millions of
sirens.
marbles, like metal, like ball bearings dropping down metal pins, and there's like thousands of machines. It's a real assault on the senses, so I've been told.
That really sounds like a great place to get a migraine. All right, so Starbreeze has had some unfortunate luck lately.
Because they suck?
Well, they don't suck. Come on now. You think about it. Starbreeze, they released Payday, they released Escape from Butcher Bay, they released
I honestly think,
Dark Athena.
I think Payday is the only thing that has really motivated me to play anything of theirs.
I played the Butcher Bay one.
Butcher Bay was okay. I guess my issue with that one is it was limited in what it could do because of the time it came out. It was
about that.
it was a very old first-person shooter, like when they were still figuring out FPS on the console.
I don't know about that at all. No.
And you go back, and it's pretty limited compared to what you can do with even like a 3-year-old FPS.
You fire up the PS3 one that had both of them on it, and it's still pretty good for its age. So it's not that old when you look at actually when it was released. The original game...
I'm not saying about what it looks like. I'm talking about limited in gameplay.
Well, how it plays, it's a stealth game. It is a action first-person RPG, and you have an inventory. It's almost like a... I don't know what... It's like a Deus Ex Light.
Oh, I know.
What it is.
Very light. Anyways.
Not that light, come on. Anyway... So, long story short, the Swedish video game developer publisher filed today for what they call reconstruction in Sweden. The CEO, Bo Anderson, is going to be leaving his position and resigning from the board of directors. So they released a press release that said, in this phase, Starbreeze needs to find a different kind of leadership, and we've therefore decided to ask Mikhail Nurmark to take on the full responsibility with our full mandate for this new phase.
Are they going to find a new engine to go with their new president there?
Hey, come on. The Payday engine was excellent. I think the problem was just... It was largely...
I think that's the only one they used it properly on, because I remember Dead Island, and Dead Island was...
You're thinking of a different company. Isn't that
Starbreeze?
No, that was... Back then was Deep Silver. That was Deep Silver in Techland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So, no, Assault on Dark Athena and Chronicles of Riddick both ran really well. Shockingly, even on the PS3. So in any case, from my understanding, Payday 3 is already in production. So this reconstruction will hopefully get them in a position where they can pay off their debts and get the company moving in the right direction so that when Payday 3 drops, they can actually get some money going again.
They will with loot boxes.
Don't even.
Hey, they already had hats and shit like that in Payday 2, didn't they?
They had a whole thing late in the Payday 2 game that they then...
They were masks. That's what it was.
No, it was you had to buy like special drills to get certain safes that could only be opened with these drills, and the drills would only be good for one safe. I don't know what it was. On PC, it was ridiculous. The fans revolted, and they pulled it all out.
Yeah.
So...
Because that sounds like a lot like keys in Rocket League.
Something like that.
Loot bags, yeah.
Loot bags, yeah, basically that.
Loot safes.
Anyway, all right. So Nintendo doesn't know what the hell it's doing when it comes to streamers. Because their creators program, that's going away.
Yeah.
That's just... It imploded. It was no good. People never liked it. They didn't make any money at it.
It was completely out of touch with what they were trying to do.
It was a PR disaster. So starting in March 20th, 2019, that's going to go away. And there's rules for streaming now, some of which are good, some of which are a little bit...
They're not great, but it's
questionable.
It is a step in the right direction. I'll give them that much.
Some of them are. So you can monetize your videos, and they specify ways you can monetize your videos, but any other kind of monetization are not allowed. So I've not seen the list, but I'm kind of wondering if things like Jim Sterling's method, where it all goes through Patreon, that will not be allowed because Nintendo won't get their cut.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Because when you're dealing with AdSense and stuff like that, Nintendo can just dig their hand in there and take what they want.
Same with YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary. Videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary are not permitted. So you have to... have yourself in the corner, comment on the game.
You have to do like a Let's Play style thing. It isn't a guide where you're not talking. It's just literally just footage of the game.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people like to see that if they're trying to decide.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. There are lots of people out there that literally, when they want to look up a Let's Play of a game, they want to watch the game. They don't want dude bro in the corner screaming about the game. And that's fair, but I mean, again...
It's weird.
It is a step in the right direction. These are certainly better than Nintendo's like iron-fisted thing before, where they're just like, you can't use our fucking games.
I guess, but it's like a weird hill to die on. Like, why would that be any better than just?
They obviously did the financials and the coverage on it, and it worked out best for them.
Okay, so in what way do you think that would impact their financials? Just have the game streaming with no commentary. How would that be less lucrative to them?
It's the whole situation of if you're if you're watching one of those streams where it's like a direct one-to-one,
Yeah.
in their minds they probably feel like whoever's watching that is getting that game experience. Whereas if somebody is offering commentary and doing whatever over it, like you watch like a Markiplier play something like that, you have him like wacky screaming, flipping out, and like he's doing weird sound effects with the game, and he's playing like and doing weird stuff with the game. That's offering like a different take on it. And even though I agree you're seeing the same game, the other one is very much a one-to-one experience with what you would see, whereas the other one, you're not experiencing it one-to-one because somebody's talking over it and they're adding their own commentary and their own theory on it and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's kind of splitting hairs there, but still, it is a step in the right direction.
Here's an interesting one.
It's better than them just saying no. Because then, like, what do you do? If Nintendo's your favorite fucking gaming company, and they make all this, like, you know, first-party stuff, and then literally you can't put a Let's Play of it on YouTube?
Yeah, then Let's Players take their business elsewhere, basically, which is what most of them did when this happened.
Yeah, what Nintendo being, you know, the big third of the gaming market that it is, that it doesn't quite work that way. Not even remotely.
But here's a weird one. You're only permitted to use Nintendo game content that has been officially released or from promotional materials officially released by Nintendo. So if you get your game and you know someone breaks street date or Amazon ships your shit out early, they're gonna break your hands if you try to stream it early.
That makes perfect sense. They do that for anyone.
No, but it's like if you get a copy early through legitimate means, they have no say about what you do with it.
They absolutely fucking do.
Well, they absolutely shouldn't, though.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not kidding
you.
They
do that all the time. We talked about Persona 5 last year doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They had a 6-month embargo. They said you can't play past a certain point or we'll fucking strike you for monies.
Well, they could try, and I mean, a lot of people did, but they have to go out and they have
that
to
was
find
6 months after
people.
The game was released.
Yeah, and look at all the flack they got from it, so that they changed their fucking their
you go
policies.
back and you were on the side of that.
No, I mean, I am and I'm not. There's different, like there's the business side and there's the streamer side.
No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with any company that you get their game early and then you try to show it to the public. That's breaking an NDA.
No, you're not. No, that's different. That's different. We're not talking about stuff where you're getting it in advance from the company. Like they're giving you a review copy, because those have a very specific embargo. I'm talking about a store sells you something by mistake. It's the store's fault. It's not yours.
Yeah.
You're just some random customer on the street. At that point,
honestly, it's no different than those guys that they get their game early, they log in, and then EA fucking smacks them, and because they can't get their download or they tried to play it early or something like that.
It's different on an online game if your server's not up. But
honestly, if I ever got a game early, the last thing I would do is try to make a fucking YouTube video of it, because I know people would be attacking me.
They could try. There's absolutely no reason. Like they cannot.
I can wait 24 hours to stay out of legal troubles. That's what I would fucking do.
I mean, at that point.
And yes, Ruru too. I understand there is no actual NDNA, but it's one of those situations. I'll wait 24 fucking hours and then I'll show my friends it. Or come on over and watch me play it. I'm not gonna post something on a public forum for everyone to see and to spread out the internet, and then you have fucking developers breathing down your neck for it.
Well, again, it's not.
And
like,
Nintendo is certainly not the only one that does that.
All they can do, if they were to file a strike against you, the most they could do is get your video pulled down for like a couple hours, and then you go, hey, I bought the game, here's the thing, here's my receipt, fuck you, Nintendo, and that's that. So, I mean, I don't understand how, like, it would be different again if we signed an NDA, there was an embargo, we have an agreement with them, and we have a future relationship that's on the line, right? You want to make sure that you follow all the rules. Like today, like Subnautica, right? The embargo is up tomorrow, but I got permission to actually talk about it tonight.
Yep.
I wouldn't have done that otherwise, because, you know, who knows when the next time I have to deal with that PR company again. You need to maintain your reputation as a media outlet.
Yep. No, I understand all
if
the
I'm
legalities
Joe Blow
of
off
that.
the street, though, if I'm, Dick Sledge wanders into EB Games or GameStop and buys a copy of, I don't know, Smash Brothers today.
It's honestly, in my mind, it's no different than people making fan games where they're not profiting off of it.
That's entirely
different,
different,
and then the person comes in and slaps it down.
No, okay, that's apples and oranges, because it's like when you have an IP, you have a trademark on that IP, they have to defend it. Like, it doesn't matter.
They have to defend early release.
But it's their game at that point. I mean, the fact that they let it out of their sight, that is GameStop's problem.
They have to let it out of their site. Amazon has all those copies, and Nintendo doesn't keep them at their warehouse.
And again, Nintendo can go, call up Amazon and talk to their lovely customer service.
Benito, welcome to the chat.
Hey, Benito, how you doing? Why can't you compare fruit?
Let's compare fruit.
You can compare fruit, but remarkably, have you ever tried to eat an orange pie? Sometimes they are not usable in all situations. Anyway, moving on. So Saturday, this Saturday on Twitch, the Kind of Funny Game Showcase is going to be happening. They're going to have 60 games viewable on Twitch.
Right.
6 of them are going to be brand new game announcements, and there's nothing been officially announced. But some of the people they've sort of indicated are going to be there: Sega, Devolver Digital, Drinkbox Studios, and Bithell Games. So Mike Bithell, the guy who did like Subsurface Circular.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thomas Was Alone. So they're going to have games that'll be featured. So that'll be neat. Apparently, Sega is going to have some kind of Yakuza announcement.
I was going to say, because I think Greg Miller himself had tweeted at them and said, hey, do you want to show anything off? They're like, yeah, let's talk.
I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be either the official announcement of Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, or if it will be a release date for Judge Eyes in North America, or whatever the North American version.
Could be one, could be the other. I mean, you're gonna shit your pants anyways either way, so
it'll be awesome. Yep. Okay. Microsoft HoloLens.
Yep. Where's that thing been?
Apparently,
like literally saw it 5 years ago, I think now.
So they've been working on it, and they tried to find commercial applications for it. And they sort of did. There was like for hospitals it could be useful, for certain design mechanics, for like when you're actually doing like mechanical design, like in CAD. Things like
I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe BMW actually bought them for their mechanics, because
I don't know.
They do the HoloLens thing where you open the hood and you actually see like the schematics of like the engine that are like under the hood, and if you're like looking for a certain part or a screw or something like that, it'll show you like where it's supposed to be and everything.
You know who's buying them now?
Well, I do, but that's because I read the thing. But I mean, I am not surprised in the slightest.
The U.S. Army.
U.S. Army.
Yeah. Or the USAR me.
Yeah. But I mean, is anyone surprised? As soon as I saw the HoloLens, I'm like, yep, military right there. They are going to want that.
Yeah, so it's a whole universal soldier thing now.
Yeah.
So Microsoft has won a $480 million deal. They're going to make 100,000 AR HoloLens headsets. And so they're now a military contractor.
I mean, technically they were before. It's Microsoft. I mean, I guarantee that.
Sure, I'm sure the U.S. Army runs Windows 10. But,
there are lucrative contracts with the U.S. Army and Microsoft beforehand.
But there's a difference between, the guy who makes pencils and the guy who makes, targeting systems.
Yes, that is true. But no, I'm not surprised in the slightest. They're going to use it for their drones and their tanks and their whatever targeting systems.
Well, they say they're going to use it for combat missions as well as training. The technology will be adapted to incorporate night vision and thermal sensing, offer hearing protection, monitor for concussion, and measure vital signs like breathing and readiness.
But is it going to play Minecraft? For when it's a slow mission. Just sitting out in the middle of the forest playing Minecraft on your HoloLens.
It's going to be like that Black Mirror episode where it'll look like you're mining, but in reality you're just drone strike. Yeah. So some people are having issues with this, like Amazon and Amazon and Google. There were certain things that were selling to the military, and their employees were like, they got them to back off.
I guarantee they were selling on Google Glass to the military and stuff like that.
I don't remember what it was. Oh, no. Google was doing like AI things for drones or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there was a massive walkout. So they just, they pulled out of that contract. Earlier this year, some people, a different Microsoft thing, they'd signed a petition criticizing a contract with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to use their AI software, I guess, for like facial recognition or some kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know specifically what it was, but in October, a blog post was purportedly written by Microsoft employees urging the company not to bid on a multi-billion dollar contract for it, And so the solution was that they moved uneasy staff members to other projects, and they kept doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so...
It's the easiest way to do it.
Right. So I don't know what Microsoft is planning here, but I think if this is the only way they're going to sell the HoloLens, that's how they recoup their costs for all this technology.
They're going to fucking do it, because not only are they going to recoup their costs, they're going to make probably more fucking money off of it. Whether that's ultimately selling like the licensing and for all the hardware and stuff, or literally just continuing to pump them out for the military.
Probably a maintenance contract and
yeah, that too.
Option to renew. Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be good for them. I think it's going to be a bit of a PR.
It's always questionable. They will keep it quieter than, hey, here's our new Xbox. So we're not selling HoloLenses to the military.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't do Google any favors at the time.
No, of course not.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, almost to the end. We got the Game Awards rumor roundup. So this Thursday, of course, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, the big thing for the last 3 years running, I think it is now. So this year, of course, we will not see the shtick guy, Bic Shaver, or whatever the hell that guy was. That was just embarrassing. But we are going to hear a lot of announcements. Apparently, there are at least 10 unannounced games that are going to be revealed.
Yeah, like I'm incredibly excited for this, because normally the Game Awards is just kind of, it's like watching MTV Music Awards or something. Like literally, it's mostly what everyone's going to win. It's a schlocky show and whatever. It's like it's kind of fun to put on in the background or something like that. This is shaping up to be one hell of a year for Jeff Keighley and his show, just because he's gotten so much traction with this, and the fact that he gets all these announcements on his show and everything, and he's going to have like these big trailer releases and everything. Like it's shaping up to be huge this year. To
be honest, it's kind of like for some people, the Super Bowl, they watch it for the commercials. And that's pretty much how I feel about this.
Oh, I mean, again, it's gaming, so yeah, it is kind of, I want to see the trailers. So, yeah, you want to see commercials, basically.
I honestly, like, based on some of the awards they've given away, I could not care less what they choose for like Game of the Year or whatnot. So, yikes.
Yeah, that is kind of it too. It's one of those things that a lot of the categories, it's like you're always going to differ from what they pick, so it's almost like I don't really care what wins. I want to see the stuff in between.
We saw no love for Horizon last year, so Jeff Keighley and his Game Awards judges can go suck
I hope he fired his entire panel, because didn't PUBG win last year for Game of the Year?
I mean...
And it wasn't even a fucking game, it was a beta. It's still a fucking beta.
That's a matter of opinion, but, at the time it was the most popular thing out there. In any case, regardless. So, there's a rumor going around that Microsoft is in talks, and has been in talks for a few months, with a major developer that has been in the past associated with Sony. Literally the phrase was, has worked with PlayStation a bit.
Yeah.
So immediately people are rattling off like the second party developer. So it's probably not Insomniac, because more than a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Quantic Dream, like really every game except Fahrenheit, I think, and Omicron, I think, were PlayStation exclusive. Bluepoint, probably not. They still have a bunch of stuff in the works for them. Supermassive, same thing. They have like 3 or 4 exclusives.
Tecmo?
Tecmo does not. No. I actually,
are they even around still?
Oh yeah,
Tecmo? Are they? Okay.
Oh yeah, Koei Tecmo is.
Koei Tecmo. Oh right, yes. I didn't think of them as the secondary name on that.
A lot of those, B tier developers had merged, like like Square Enix, for example.
Yeah.
But Namco Bandai, same thing. Anyway, so the popular, and I think the most likely scenario is that it's ready at dawn.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Because they haven't done anything publicly, as far as I know, since the order.
Yeah, and then before that, it was what, God of War?
They were doing the remasters of the God of War on the PSP.
Yeah,
PS3,
that's what it was. Yeah,
I believe. But yeah, it has been a while. And actually, no, I think they did the original.
They did the original
Sparta.
Yeah, that one.
One of them.
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look at my my list, but it could be Ready at Dawn. It could be any of them really, but Ready at Dawn I think is the most logical one for me.
I mean, that'd be fine, because they're not, they're probably just kind of sitting around with their hands in their pockets.
I would really like them to take another crack at the order, like do another version, mechanically make it better, and like graphically it was amazing. They had a good storyline.
Yeah,
just needed to work on the mechanics.
The unfortunate part is I think it drowned so hard its first time out that I don't think people would buy into it the second time.
Well, I mean, if that was the case, we'd never have Red Dead Redemption, because Red Dead Revolver did like terrible sales.
Yeah, but it was called Red Dead Revolver, not Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
You change it from a first person to a third person, and you change one part of the title.
Sure.
People are gonna perk up about it again.
Like Metal Gear Rising, or
Yeah, Metal Gear Rising was fun.
or
It was also my platinum.
Metal Gear Survive.
Well, everyone knew that was shit. Konami had the blowhorn on that one. They were like, "Come buy our crap game."
Anyway, Respawn Entertainment. There's a rumor going around we're going to see their Star Wars game, and the rumor is that it's called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and it's supposed to launch in November of next year.
Okay.
It's supposed to take place 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, so it's going to be a sort of in around the Rebels timeline.
Okay, that's interesting.
It could be interesting.
I mean, I'm always for more Star Wars, especially now that Battlefront has left such a bad taste in our mouth that I want to see a proper, fun Star Wars game come out that isn't just a online loot box fest.
I don't even know what Deformers is, but apparently they released Deformers on PS4. It's actually surprising that could get.
Oh, Lone
by
Echo.
me.
Okay, yeah,
I can see Lone
one.
Echo being. I don't have an Oculus, but I did not even know about Deformers, so that's interesting. It sounds like
is that
one
like
of those,
the B-list Transformers?
I was thinking it sounds like one of those toyetic shows from the 80s.
Yeah.
Deformers, Deform.
Yeah, it's like it's like GoBots basically.
Yeah.
It was the B-list Transformers,
or like the Inhumanoids. Or,
Yeah.
The fucking Dinosaur Riders or whatever the hell it was.
Dino Riders.
Dino Riders. So there's a rumor on 4chan, so grain of salt the size of your head. Apparently they're going to reveal a Mortal Kombat 11 during the Game Awards.
You know what? I have heard this rumor outside of 4chan too, and I can't say I'm surprised because it has been a couple years since we had Mortal Kombat XL, which was like that packed. It was Mortal Kombat 10 with all the extra content packed in.
I mean, maybe it's possible, but
and honestly, it's a good fighting game, and it still has its fan base. It's not going to sell fucking 3 million copies in a weekend like fucking Spider-Man and God of War and all that stuff, but it'll be fun. I want to see what they do with it.
Yes, Inhumanoids, the evil lies within. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, way too many fighting games out these days. That I don't necessarily agree with. Like, there's Street Fighter.
Well, and the thing to be fair about too is that you could say that about like a lot of different things. Yeah. Now, if they copy each other one-to-one, like a lot of the kind of future military shooters like we've been getting, or just military shooters in general, a lot of those, there's a science to those. They copy them almost exactly because they have a fan base to appease. With fighting games, outside of the fact that you have like typically two players fighting locked on a 2D plane, anything outside of that, there is a great variation of what you're actually getting out of that game. So you actually have a good variety to pick from.
Dragon Ball, I assume he means Fighter Z.
Yeah, Fighter
Z. That came out earlier this year. Soul Calibur 6 just came out. Injustice is older.
Injustice 2 came out last year.
Is that last year or was it early this year?
It was last year because we've been getting DLC since then.
I don't remember when the last Street Fighter 5
was last year, but again, getting constant characters and DLC.
Maybe. And Smash
is on Friday.
Smash is a whole other kind of game, though. I don't put that in the same category as like Street Fighter and that.
Oh, and the new Jump Fighter is coming out.
That's the Shonen Jump?
The Shonen Jump one, yeah.
Jump Force.
Yes, there's Jump Force, and if you're a Shonen fan and you like My Hero Academia,
yes,
I think
that just came out.
That just came out like a month ago.
I don't know what the hell that is. So
yeah.
Anyway, here are some details from the fake rumor. So apparently it's been under construction since Mortal Kombat 10. They wanted to go back to games with a adventure mode. So apparently it has a proper adventure mode, which is a new version of Shaolin Monks type of gameplay.
Okay.
You can play and customize your character. Lots of items for customizing, weapons, and boxes. So daily buyable stuff and crap.
That's cool. It sounds like they're taking a lot of what they kind of put into Injustice 2 and they're bringing it into Mortal Kombat, because Injustice 2, as you've seen, you can customize the shit out of actual licensed heroes. So I think it's really cool that they're doing that with Mortal Kombat now.
Maybe, or this just means they stole this idea and they're putting it out that seems real, but it's actually totally fake.
Stole the idea.
No, I'm saying that this could be just some guy picking up a bunch of shit and going, they're going to take all this stuff from here and put it into there. It's like, now that they've done Dino Crisis, in Resident Evil, you'll be able to move while shooting. Nope. So,
the new jump fighter's coming out, I think, for pretty much everything. I'm not sure about Switch, but we're almost definitely getting it on like Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation.
So the adventure mode is supposed to be 2-player co-op, online or single with drop in and drop out. Story mode and adventure are both different, and they're both included. Story mode is supposed to be the normal
like
NRS game style. I don't know what that means.
Like fight through the fighters, basically.
I guess. And there are going to be 3 main characters in the story mode. So it's... I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the rumor that sounds a little iffy, but you never know. Rocksteady, they're not doing Superman. They're just not.
That's fine.
Yeah. But no, they've come right out and said, we've heard this rumor for ages. Yeah. We're not doing Superman.
I'm perfectly fine with that because as well as they did on the Arkham series, I don't think a Superman game would just fit into that wheelhouse. They need something that is a little closer to Batman and Arkham City.
See, as well as they did on the Arkham series, Superman is a terrible character.
Careful now, you're going to catch the internet on fire.
I am fine with that. The internet rage machine can find me and tweet to me at digital_fiasco, and I'll tell you exactly why Superman is a terrible, flawed character concept. So... After a leaked entry from Walmart Canada, the internet went nuts thinking that Death Stranding was coming out end of June next year.
Okay.
Oh, they've leaked the release date, and they didn't. So this is like a sort of an anti-rumor. They said it's just a placeholder. I think June the 30th is like a Sunday.
Oh, okay. So that's a good way to use a placeholder. Make it on something where it obviously won't release.
Well, if it happens to fall on the exact day at the end of the second quarter or at the end of any quarter, that's probably not a real date.
But
if that happens to be a Tuesday, then
that would also be one of those things that maybe it would fall in the second quarter somewhere. Who knows?
It's possible. Yeah. It's possible. But the point is that they say that the date is... not significant. It's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Maybe it is like summer of next year.
But I mean, that's great actually to see something like a Walmart actually post anything like that. That means that
maybe
it's sooner than later, definitely.
Maybe.
Because they wouldn't have bothered posting anything like that if we weren't getting the game next year.
I mean, if Death Stranding, they said it's going to be out tomorrow, I'd be like, sure. If they said it's going to be out 3 years from now, I'd be like, sure. I have no fucking idea. Obsidian. They are going to be revealing their next game, for sure, at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay.
We don't know what it is yet. The only details we have is it's going to be an RPG.
And it's made by Obsidian.
But specifically, it's being worked on by Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky, who are the Fallout co-creators.
Oh, like the original Fallout?
Right.
Okay.
Which is what Wasteland was. Like, it was like the original
Wasteland
Fallout.
and Wasteland 2, yeah.
Right, exactly. So now, whatever Obsidian is doing next, it's going to be made by the Fallout co-creators. It's going to be an RPG, and it's probably going to be another, like, Wastelandy game.
Yeah, because they obviously like that genre, and that's their jam.
They had a couple of teaser images. It looked very Bioshock-ish, actually.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, old school, sort of, who knows. But it'd be interesting. Maybe they'll resurrect, like, Deadlands or something. I don't know. That'll be cool. So, not only we're going to see 10 brand new games, we might see new details on some existing games.
Rushi wants to know if it's still on the Creation Engine.
Well, probably not. Well, Obsidian doesn't own that. That's Bethesda. That's their Fallout engine. So
yeah, so they would definitely have their own engine.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, if it's Obsidian, they might just use like Unreal or something like that. Like it wouldn't be
probably
maybe not an in-house one.
Well, it would. I mean, you never know. I mean, everything else would be like Unreal probably. You know, what they use Unreal Engine for Gears and stuff, don't they?
As far as I know, yeah. Yeah, I'm almost certain it was Unreal Engine. So yeah, that would make sense.
Who knows? Maybe Obsidian has their own internal engine as well. I don't even know.
It's probably just an amped up version of Unreal or something.
Possibly.
Yeah.
All right, some quick hits. The latest count on Fortnite's player base is 200 million people.
Really?
200 million people. Up 60% from their last count in June.
Those are insane numbers. No wonder they made $300 million in April.
Yeah. So, to put that in perspective,
That's a lot of damn people.
there is as many people playing Fortnite now as there are in the country of Brazil.
Holy fuck.
That's insane.
Oh, is that... Rutu wants to know if there's active players. Have they confirmed that's active players, or is that people that have gotten the game?
They call it their player base. I don't know if that means active players or not.
That
but even still,
it seems like people that would have the game because that's a base where they could play the game.
Possibly.
Either way, it's
Yeah.
still insane numbers.
it's pretty impressive.
Because I guarantee, even if that's like not active players, there's
Yeah.
probably like 160 million active players or something.
Who's
like
to
that.
say? But in any case, Star Citizen. While we're talking about
this again,
right, this is like
No Star Citizen, you can't have my wallet.
I mean, I love Chris Roberts. I love Wing Commander to death, but this is killing me.
Yeah.
So Star Citizen, when we talked about their free fly event, so they had their week-long free fly event.
Right, where you could like go into the showroom, pick a
Yeah.
jet, and like fly it around space and
Yeah.
have some fun with it, just to get you hooked.
And of course, during that, they had a limited time sale where there was like a big sale and all their stuff. They made, in 9 days, they made $7 million.
Are you? Oh my God! Stop giving him money.
So they have
Stop.
$208 million now and 2.1 million registered users. And the game's not even done yet.
Not even close to done. It's like
You're
oh my
killing
God,
me, Smalls.
That's fucking insane. Stop. Just fucking stop. Release the game or get the fuck rid of it already.
So Battlefield 5.
Oh, what do they want now?
Their prices are continuing to plummet, along with EA's stock prices. The game is now already being tagged for sale price, and you can get it for like $40 new US.
Wow. Okay, so that came out last week.
Week before, it's like the last couple of weeks. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think it's
2 weeks
ago.
And it's half price now, basically.
Well, I mean, it's half. That's USD.
Oh,
so
sorry.
it's like a third off.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's gonna keep going, right? Half off, I think, is like 30 US, roughly.
That would make sense.
Star Citizen is where we'll upload all our consciousness when climate change makes the planet uninhabitable. And it still won't be done.
Yeah. It'll be glitchy as fuck, and then you'll like lose half your memories.
Oh, I tell you.
Unless you pay him $7 million, then you're,
All right.
then you're good.
German retailer Media Market has posted a listing for an as-yet unannounced Assassin's Creed compilation for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One.
Okay.
It's going to be out theoretically sometime in March, which kind of coincides with when the Assassin's Creed 3 remake was going to be part of the from the season pass for Odyssey.
Yeah.
So the possibility exists that you could see Black Flag Rogue, now that's been remastered,
Right.
and Assassin's Creed 3, which would be a nice little package for people.
Obviously, yeah. Again, it's that whole thing we talk about with remasters. It's just nice to have like multiple on the same disc so you can kind of play them all in the same place.
I mean, I think that's good too because it would get more people to play Rogue, which is frankly one of the best in the series.
Yeah, Genius 3. Well, don't do that. You lose all your memories then.
Yeah.
You lose half to alcohol and half to Star Citizen.
All the Assassin's Creed story that takes place at the current time. You know, I would play that game.
That was honestly, as they were getting towards the end of I never remember his fucking name now.
Desmond.
Desmond. As they were getting towards the end, when Desmond was actually becoming like a fully fledged assassin.
Yep.
That was honestly some of my favorite gameplay. I fucking loved it.
Fun fact, in the Kickstarter for the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice that's just ending in like 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
the most recent optional buy-in, the expansion is for modern-day Tokyo. And you
Really?
get modern-day assassins and stuff.
That's so
It
crazy.
is pretty cool. So it's going to be like a whole other section of gameplay.
That's awesome.
I think it is pretty awesome.
Did you buy into that one?
I bought into it.
All
It's
right,
like,
then.
I'm like, between that, like all these optional buy-ins are like an additional like $60 Canadian.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what it would cost basically. But it's like, oh, but each time they, oh yeah, you're done. No, oh, and then there's this. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Called stretch goals for...
Yeah. But I mean, when you get it, it's essentially you'd be buying it at retail anyway, right?
It is honestly one of those things. Like you'll kick yourself later because you go to the store and you're like, oh great, it's $80 now.
I mean, with the quality of the miniatures that are in it and the number of miniatures that are in it, probably.
Yeah.
They're actually giving us, one of the things they added free was a full-size tower that you could put on.
Really?
Yeah, so you could like be on top of the tower.
Does it have a little jump point and everything?
Yeah, and then like the whole thing.
Sweet, totally worth it.
I mean, that was kind of a neat twist. So, anywho. All right, so Sony has filed a patent for a new kind of memory card, which is interesting. There were no additional details. The patent was filed. It has it's listed as an electronic game cartridge. It has a port at the bottom for connection to a system of some kind.
Okay.
It's got like a hole in it. So like
is it an actual hole, or is it like a divot of?
It's like a hole, like I mean, you can't tell from the picture, but it looks like a hole that you would like.
It's like one of those like textbook picture kind of things.
Like you would thread a lanyard through.
Okay.
You know, or something. But who knows to say what it is? It could be possibly like a Vita 2 design.
Yeah.
It could be like a memory card design. One of the things I was thinking of would be like the old Dreamcast VMUs.
Oh, yeah.
Where it might be like it would carry individual players' save games and like licenses and his ID. So you could just go from system to system, and it would just
keep it on your keychain.
Right.
Maybe plug it into a controller on like the PS5 or something
maybe.
like that.
Or between systems or something.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be interesting if that's actually the case, but no one knows anything about it yet. How much does it cost to file a patent? I don't know specifically, but it's not a zero number. It's a non-zero cost. I don't know.
Just patenting Spider-Man web shooters. Hey, I'm down for that.
I'd be okay with that too, Rurutu. See, Rurutu's all with these doom and gloom scenarios that I'm absolutely fine with. And last but not least, speaking of doom and gloom, apparently Red Dead Online is doing a battle royale mode.
Okay, yeah. So we had a quick snippet before the show about this, and it's so like, put your glasses back on. You had to see this coming.
Jack takes off glasses.
I'm
pretty sure that's a square.
You had to see this coming. We joked about it. We joked about it in the chat. We joked about it on the show. It's battle royale. It's the hot ticket right now. People need to add it to their game, or else their game is shit.
It works real well for the Bionic Commando multiplayer game.
I mean, again,
amazing.
It was one of those situations where back in the day when we started having online with consoles, if you didn't have multiplayer in your game, how horribly tacked on or not, it got bad fucking reviews, and people yelled about it, even though Bionic Commando being a perfect example, the multiplayer was absolute garbage and completely unnecessary.
They will learn when they drive it into the ground that Battle Royale is not the be-all and end-all of all games.
The main part is that I never really have a problem with Battle Royale as long as it's not the main focus. Now, if they brought out Red Dead Online and that was the only thing it was, I would have a serious problem with that. But if this is just another game mode that you don't even have to touch, I don't fucking care. I'm
exactly the opposite. If you're going to do Battle Royale, that better be all that you do so that you do it well. I don't want to see them half-ass it. Because, I mean, it's
Rockstar, so they could have both fully fledged modes and it would be all right.
Maybe.
If this was a Capcom or something like that, then it'd be a little bit of a different situation.
But they're talking about doing a Battle Royale mode with a maximum of 32 players. So that's your server count.
That's barely Battle Royale.
Right. That's essentially 16v16. Like,
yeah, I mean, Gina Screen brings it up too, is that GTA Online is basically Battle Royale right now. Like,
yeah, but typically that's Battle Royale. It's like calling Battlefield Battle Royale if you had an infinite number of tickets. It's just fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy, Illogical Mods on Twitter, he's uncovered what appears to be a fully fledged story missions and the first specific details pertaining to the game's Battle Royale mode. The mode is apparently called Make It Count. I don't know why.
Because you have to steal money?
Possibly. I don't know. But rounds, like all Battle Royale games, rounds are set in a ever-shrinking circle.
Right.
That restricts where you can go in the game.
Tornado with cactuses in it or something.
And apparently it also restricts the weapons that you might be able to get at your disposal. So
that makes sense, yeah.
32 players. Why bother?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, again, it's the hot ticket right now. People are demanding these things one way or another.
Yeah.
And if they wrangle it into 32 players, and again, it's Rockstar, they got the money to make this shit work. I don't have a problem with it because it's not their...
Yeah.
It's not their core focus, because those are the ones that bug me. It's when they make something the core focus and it's your only option, and I don't want that option.
Then you wouldn't buy the game in the first place.
But
at least the game would do well.
With multiplayer.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean. If you have a solid single player and the multiplayer's tacked on no matter how horrible it is, I don't care that it's there. because it's not the option that I want. With this one, if you can still play the online version without playing Battle Royale because you don't care about it, more the merrier. I don't fucking care.
But basically all that is 32-player deathmatch, one life to live.
And you don't have to play it.
I mean, I'm okay with
Options,
that, but
man, options.
why go to the trouble of calling it Battle Royale?
Because people want it, and Battle Royale is the name of the thing that people want.
Because Red Dead Redemption was having trouble selling.
It'll sell even more.
Okay.
Red Dead now with Battle Royale. 12-year-olds everywhere wet their pants and want it.
New and goddamn improved.
I want to know when Rocket League is getting Battle Royale. You know,
when you get 100 people on a field.
All joking aside,
that's a terrible idea.
Honestly, with the amount that Rocket League has done with all of their extras, they have their Rumble mode and everything like that, I would love to see them finally take a page out of some other books and add a racing mode a la like Mario Kart, and B, just have like a demo arena instead of it just being a full like soccer match. I think that'd be amazing, again, to have those other options there. Because playing Battle Royale Rumble, I don't know if you ever played that one, it's basically like Mario Kart with car soccer. Okay. So you have a bunch of crazy, wacky weapons that really up the ante because they have like grappling hooks and tornadoes and spring-loaded things, and like really... It adds all those weapons and adds like a new angle to it.
Sure.
I would love to see that because the car physics and everything, the flying is so great in that game. I would love to see a fully fledged Rocket League racing game with that. It'd be so much fun.
Just play Wipeout.
Not even the same thing.
Functionally identical. I don't know.
Cougars will limit the play area. There'll just be a ring of cougars that ever closes.
They just slowly stalk closer. That's horrifying.
Way more horrifying than an electrical storm or tornado or whatever.
Beware of cougar.
It's a tornado with cougars in it.
Cougar-nado. All right. Now I know what I'm going to be fucking waking up in a cold sweat from tonight.
Cougar-nado.
All right. The big ticket, and something I'm very proud of. I had an opportunity to actually put a list of questions to the founder and the head of Project Aces for Bandai Namco.
Oh,
the
big
guys
tickets,
who did
tooting your own horn.
Goddamn right it is. Kazutoki Kono. I had put a list of questions about Ace Combat 7 to him, and we have our responses and the whole interview published today on psu.com if you wanted to go and check that out. That was a series that I've loved for ages, and to be able to actually go in ahead of time and get some answers to these questions I've been feeling for a long time. If you actually check good old Captain Quench, he had read the interview and he's like...
Yeah, it was almost too much for him.
Yeah, it was.
He could barely handle himself.
So,
and there we go. Jay Tanuki has just posted it there too. If you want to read the full thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through the list of questions and answers. There are actually a number of pieces of information here that are genuine exclusives for PSU.
You're not going to go through the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Okay,
no,
you
can go read the whole thing.
We wanted to read the whole thing on the site.
But there are some in particular that are well worth repeating and discussing. So. We all know that Ace Combat 7, it takes place in Strange Real, which is the setting of Ace Combat 4, 5, 0, and I think 1 and 2. I think 3 may not be canon. I think that one was...
And 6?
6? I don't know.
Because it's right in between there, so...
But that's the one that was Xbox exclusive. I think it might also be. I don't remember where that lands, but I think it might also be part of that. But then there was like Assault Horizon and
the stepchildren
PSP ones, right? They don't count. Anyway, so we're coming back now to Strange Real after 10 years. This is amazing. So they talk about what are the changes to the technology, that how it affects the way they build a game. What are the new things we can expect? So one of the things he says, which I thought was kind of cool, players can now experience the feel of the sky. Up to now, Ace Combat was flying in space where it looks real but without this feeling. In the seventh episode, will be shaken by the air current. The aircraft will vibrate. It enhances flight sensation more than your imagination. In terms of graphics, he says the game looks beautiful, but it's superficial. But it now it'll be so realistic that it makes it feel like more like an environment you're actually moving through.
Right.
So like the sky looks very realistic. The ground as you're above it looks incredibly realistic. With weather effects and things, it'll be like just like being in an aircraft.
It's about making the environment feel more real, so you actually get a sense of speed and maneuvering and everything.
Yes,
Whereas
definitely.
before it was kind of like, it looked really nice, but your plane just felt kind of, it was in space above the ground, and unless you were like whizzing along the ground, you didn't feel that sense of speed so much.
So another thing you're going to have is we're talking about volumetric clouds have been added so that they are large clouds that you actually move through and you lose visibility in them.
Right.
So that's a hazard that you have to deal with. But not only will it affect you, but it affects the AI. If they can't see you, those clouds actually provide cover, allows you to maneuver, possibly gain an advantage.
Right.
So
you can slam the brakes on and they'll fly right by.
An interesting thing, though, is that there are going to be a lot of unmanned vehicles in this, and one of the major themes is going to be man versus machine.
UAVs and drones,
Exactly.
absolutely.
The interesting thing is that they react differently to hazards than a human pilot or a human AI pilot will.
I would imagine they're more aggressive.
Theoretically, right? Because they don't need to worry about like how many G's they can pull turning.
Yep.
They don't have to worry about acceleration.
Well, and if they know they're going to get their man,
Right.
they're going to go in like and take you down.
Well,
like,
I mean,
even
I don't
if it
know
means
about-
they blow up.
I didn't ask about kamikaze, but they certainly won't get.
Oh,
a
I
shit if
don't,
you shoot them.
mean per se like kamikaze, but they will, pull some crazier maneuvers to get at you probably.
Exactly.
Load up your aircraft with loot boxes instead of missiles. So you fire a loot box at them, and then something pops out at the last second. You better hope it's like the death missile.
Blue shell.
Yeah.
Okay, but it will also have weather. There's going to be like lightning storms and rain and things too, and like the rain will streak over your canvas, which is crazy. I can't wait. Like you'd fly through a cloud and you'll get a little moisture.
Yeah. Since you're getting moist right now.
I am. Anyway, so let me read this section here. So we talked about graphics for a bit, how it changes the way you react to the game, how the game reacts to you. We talked about meshing the near future technology with realistic aircraft. Like, how did he manage that? Mm-hmm. One of the things he talked about how to describe the AI, like the UAVs, how it would be different than a human AI or something simulating a human pilot. He says, I try to take the element that players liked in the game as well as look ahead in the future. UAV are a good example of that approach and makes it work. One of the challenges was the quote-unquote thought of UAV. UAVs have no life. When controlling a UAV, the priority of protecting yourself should be lower than protecting people. When that choice happens, what will the UAV oppose to the enemy, and what type of flight will they do? Regarding that point, it was necessary to develop a difference from the enemy's aircraft of the past and bring it to the UAV. So it's like they react to people, they react to targets and objectives entirely different than a human, quote-unquote, AI pilot would.
Rutu says this game's just going to teach Skynet how to defeat human pilots.
Basically.
Yep, that's all training, man. It's all getting out there.
And then, so the aircraft customization trailer had just been released when we put the questions to them. So we have a really good look at the customization system and how it works. So I asked, the aircraft tree was shown for the first time in a numbered Ace Combat game. It showed various weapon unlocks and upgrades as well as other bonuses. So he says, you'll need a strategy for choosing and obtaining your favorite aircraft, but there's no concept of levels, so you don't need to grind or do repeating work, which is good. So there's no like level-based restrictions, it's just whatever you can afford.
Right.
So there are special weapons that are unique for each aircraft that you can buy, but there are global parts that you can buy that are you can put on any aircraft. So there's actually a list of parts. There was like 10 or 15 different parts you could customize each aircraft with, and you could put them on any aircraft you have.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that'll be neat to see. So there's a lot of variety to what you can do and sort of how you can customize the craft to whatever the mission is you're going to do. And you can buy every part that's available in the campaign. The only ones you won't have access to are the online parts only, which are specific to certain online aspects of the game.
It makes sense. They're balanced for whatever happens online.
So yeah, I don't know specifically what the online parts, how they are going to affect the multiplayer, but it'll be interesting. So he says, except for the contents released on DLC, all aircraft, all special weapons, and all parts can be obtained by consuming MRP, which is mission results points obtained in the game. And the MRP you will earn will vary depending on the clear rank of the mission and the score. So you get an ace rank, you get high score, you get a lot of MRP, which you can then turn into additional parts.
Right.
Which is cool.
Don't waste your missiles. Don't waste your ammo.
Exactly.
Don't blow up.
Yeah, don't blow up, definitely. But shoot down all the targets, shoot down the extra targets. If there's enemy aces, you can shoot those down.
Pilots aren't cheap, you know.
They are not. So the maximum load capacity limits the parts that can be mounted on the particular aircraft. So depending on how heavy the aircraft is, how big the engines are, will determine how much it can actually take in terms of weight. And it'll affect play style as well.
God, truck, no.
Dibs on truck nuts for your plane.
Oh my God, I just imagine a Tomcat with nuts flapping around between the two engines.
I'm pretty sure that would affect your drag.
Well, it depends on how big the nuts are.
No, not along the ground. I'm thinking airflow drag.
That's what I mean, though.
I know. Anyway, so there are level indicators on the parts, but it's not like you have to like level them up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's like to indicate these are better parts than the previous ones. So the multiplayer component, he says, it has simple rules. Since the battlefield has been renewed, you can enjoy the PvP using the environment. Rather than tying players with complicated rules, we try to stress out the importance of improving players' performance, such as adjusting the balance or capacity to evaluate the game situation at first glance. So I guess customizing your aircraft will be how you mostly play the game, but it looks like it's going to be largely free-for-all deathmatch kind of style.
Yeah.
There's going to be DLC.
Armored Core with airplanes.
Exactly, which I am 100% fine with.
Absolutely.
There's going to be DLC that have 3 additional aircraft and some mission trees as well in the Season Pass. It's under development, so I don't have all the details on that yet. The PlayStation 7, this is an important one that I made sure to ask him.
You said the PlayStation 7?
Sorry, Ace Combat 7 for the PlayStation 4. It's going to include a PS2 to PS4 version of Ace Combat 5.
Oh, okay.
And of
like
course,
just right on the disc?
No, it's going to be a pre-book bonus.
Oh, okay.
So the Xbox 360 gets Ace Combat 6. I guess
because that was a licensed one
right.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a backwards compatibility one.
John, PS7 confirmed right
PS7
here.
confirmed. Yes, that's a big scoop for us.
Yeah.
Here. But the PS4 version is going to have Ace Combat 5, which is the Unsung War.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be converted over. Now, I asked if, in particular, we can expect to see Ace Combat 4, Shattered Skies, and Ace Combat 0, the Belkin War, on the PS4. And he kind of
juked and jive.
So it says, at this moment in time, it doesn't have such a schedule. Of course, as long as there's customer feedback, it's our mission to investigate and make efforts. For Ace Combat 7 in particular, it's really interesting for the players to play Ace Combat 5, The Unsung War, which is set 10 years before the event of our last game. So
he pressed the button for a canned response to remastered games.
A little bit, but they have Stonehenge in the trailer. Ace Combat 5 kind of literally leads into this, so it's going to be good to see. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's a huge deal to be able to go back and play Ace Combat 5 again on the PS4 and get trophies for it.
Of course, yeah.
It doesn't cost them much to do PS4 to PS4
it's just
version.
more Ace Combat-y goodness, so
right, and they're already done for the PS2. I'm just saying, shut up and take my money.
You know what? We'll wait. We'll let the sales figures speak for themselves because they could just easily pull a Yakuza. Everyone buys it. Everyone loves it, and they're like, "Hey, here's some more."
Right. So, last question I asked. I didn't go through all of them, but the last question I asked was, is there any chance we might see the return of the ADF-01 Falcon, which was the red Robotech-looking one that we saw like in a couple of games it's been in now? And one of my favorite aircraft. Just
like everyone's favorite, honestly.
And he says, I feel like I already saw it. Is it my imagination? And he laughed.
Oh, how coy.
So it was like... So I went back and I was it already in one of the trailers? Did I miss it? I haven't seen it, but it's a possibility that they've already kind of like hidden it somewhere.
They've always got to have those high-tech, fun aircraft that just, they're not real and they're so sought after.
Yep.
So
I really hope to see that one.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. All right. You know what time it is?
Absolutely. Hit that button.
It's time to press select on the options menu. And for those of you who are new to the stream, the options menu is a series of rotating topics that we bring up from time to time. This week, we're going to be talking about near misses and second chances, games that either were kind of good and just needed to tweak, or were just terrible, but had kind of a nugget of a good idea.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty broad spectrum of nearly good games that didn't quite make it.
Or just something that just really needs another one to make it good.
As is tradition, you go first, sir.
Okay, like I said earlier in the stream, it was kind of funny that you had brought up that THQ Nordic grabbed Carmageddon.
Indeed.
I am so hopeful that they will turn this around.
Better
because,
than the last one?
Holy fuck. Okay, so...
It was not good.
I enjoyed Carmageddon when it first came out. It was fresh, new concept. It was really... Like, it was just a fun fucking game to play.
Good tie-in with Death Race.
Like, very bare bones. Like, there wasn't a lot going on in the game. But again, it was one of those ones you could really kind of make your own fun out of it, too.
Hey, man, children and elderly were worth double points.
But, I mean, it was one of those things. It was technically a race.
Yes.
But you could also win the race because it was, like, 50 laps long, and the AI was just fucking stupid. You would basically turn into Twisted Metal, pretty much. Like, you would beat the shit out of the cars until they blew up or gave up or whatever.
Yeah.
So those games were a lot of fun. Carmageddon 2... was kind of more of the same. It didn't really do anything extra.
It had 3D acceleration at the time.
I mean, that's
true. Pretty big.
There's that, but I mean, as far as
Frankenstein car,
actual like different gameplay,
pretty much the same.
You know, same kind of stable of vehicles and stuff like that. And then you had some variations of them down the line and everything like that. And then a couple years ago, I believe it was 2016 when it came out. I was so excited to hear that Carmageddon Max Damage was coming out because I was just like, fuck yeah, I remember Carmageddon. That game was amazing. And then I played it, and boy, was I fucking disappointed. Outside of the fact that it was a complete nostalgia trip because they kept, I think, almost every single one of the original vehicles, just updated crash physics and everything like that. Outside of that one, it was just really unfortunate because outside of that bit of nostalgia at the start of all the characters, the game fucking sucked. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they had some of the most boring flat maps, some of the shittiest fucking graphics on like a modern racing game, and honestly, I think officially the worst race physics I've ever played in a fucking racing game. High
Evolutionary says that retro games are always better in your head.
Yeah, and believe me, High Evolutionary, first off, welcome to chat. And yeah, I totally agree. Nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and we have gone back and we've played games where like, oh, okay, that wasn't as good as I remember it.
Nostalgia goggles are a tough thing to
get
past
I'm not saying going back and playing the original Carmageddon is going to kind of net the same worth, but I remember being great, and I wanted them to update this. So I loved seeing the original line of cars in there, but every single thing after that was an absolute misstep.
Yeah.
The maps were terrible. The physics were awful. Just the gameplay, the controls, the graphics.
Was this the one that they made all the pedestrian zombies so they bled green? Or was that the one before it?
I think that was the one before it.
Okay.
That was definitely on when they brought Carmageddon to the 64. They definitely did that because, again, Nintendo was very iffy on, slaughtering people with cars. What do they call that? Not regicide. There's a term for killing people.
If you ran over a king, then yes,
that's true.
Vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah, sure. I think there's another another more direct term or whatever. Either way, that game. Did you ever try to play Max Damage?
I don't think I ever did. I was a big fan of the Carmageddon series back in the day. I played the first one, the second one. I did play actually the Death Race 2000 that they did for the movie, which was done by the Carmageddon guys.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah.
So did they basically just take Carmageddon and reskin it as Death Race?
Essentially, Carmageddon was
Death Race.
Because you literally had Frankenstein's car with the spine and everything. So, but yeah, I don't think I ever played Max Damage, but I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And found out, unfortunately.
As was I. Yeah. And holy shit, it was an experience, but in completely the wrong way. And again, like going back to the the worst physics. It's like they didn't even try. Yeah. So the main issue that I had with the physics was, of course, in the first games, what did you do? You smashed into other cars. So
pretty much that's all I did.
What did they do in this game? They made it feel like low gravity, and the entire ground was covered with an oil slick.
Oh, fantastic!
So when you went off a ramp, you went the fuck off a ramp, so you couldn't really judge where you were going to land. And when you smash into a car, it looked and felt and almost sounded like you were smashing sponges together. Like there was just no feedback from the game.
High Evolutionary brings up the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games for the ZX Spectrum, which I believe was
ZX Spectrum.
I think that was the same version they had on the original Nintendo, which was such a
so that was like the
ridiculous-
PC version of it or whatever?
But if I'm not mistaken, the quote-unquote PC version, because of the way it was ported, it was physically impossible to finish the game.
I think
one of the jumps.
that's the one that had the jump that was like
I think
a
so.
couple pixels too wide
Whatever
or
it
something
was,
like that.
the change made it impossible to actually finish the game, and it never got patched.
And High Evolutionary, I mean, congrats to you on actually enjoying that game as a kid, because I fucking
God.
hated that game as a kid because it was so balls hard.
Until they came out with like the Turtles in Time or whatever it
Oh,
was.
well,
where it
that was
the-
way later. We're talking Turtles the arcade
No, I know,
game.
I know, it was terrible.
Yeah, so Turtles 2, the arcade game, that's when everyone was like, fuck yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Because the first game, that was hard as balls, and I was not
the
a
overhead
fan.
view with the van. And
Yeah,
then
it
down
was just
the
that weird
sewer
shit, and then like you got to use each turtle once, so
Yeah.
it was like having 4 lives, and 3 of the guys like had terrible weapons, and you always
my
used
God.
Donnie because he could reach everything
Yeah.
with his fucking staff.
Yeah,
so.
that could be a whole episode for near misses all on its own. All right.
But yeah, ultimately it comes down to it was just an absolute misstep. So what they need to do, and what I really, really hope that THQ does, is they grab that and they
Okay.
fucking run with it. They're like, we are going to completely make up for what Max Damage did to the series.
We'll see. I hope.
Because they're like, what was the rating on that? Did you see the Metacritic rating on it or whatever? I think it was like a 30 or
The most
something.
recent one was a 54%.
I'm surprised it even got that high,
Yeah.
honestly. But
Ooh,
yeah.
and thank you for the follow.
Oh, thank you very
High
much for that.
Revolutionary.
That follow there.
High
All right.
Revolutionary. Excuse me. High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
He might be revolutionary as well. I don't know. He might be a dissident out there trying to overthrow the government.
So I guess what it comes down to is, I'm
Yep.
glad that THQ has it, and I really hope they actually do something with it. I hope they don't just sit on the license and just never make it.
You wouldn't buy it to just throw it in the closet. It'd be different if it was like part of a group.
Right, against a whole humble bundle
Right.
kind of situation.
You buy the whole thing for that. And I mean, to High Evolutionary's point for nostalgia goggles,
Yeah.
I still go back and play Star Control 2. I can still go back and play 8-bit Fantasy Star.
Yeah.
And some sprite-based games are okay, but when you get into early polygons, it has to be a really
It's
good
very
game.
hit and miss. There's
Yeah.
certain looks that really work, or there's just certain games that are just so good that
Yeah.
you kind of look past that.
Ugh.
And honestly, High Evolutionary, as you tune in the future on our other Monday streams, one of our options menu is also hidden gems.
yes.
So we will talk about old games that we go back and play again and again.
Indeed.
Okay, so what is your choice?
Okay, so I believe it came out last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was another one that I had to review after I was done with Red Dead Redemption. My month of guides, my 108 guides. Like I was collecting all the fucking stars for Suikoden.
Oh, High Evolutionary. That was actually
Lemmings,
my
oh, yeah.
choice for hidden gems and ones I always go back to play. That was like 3 weeks ago, I
Lemmings
think.
and worms, like it doesn't really matter what they look like; they're always going to be a classic.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So yeah, that's absolutely one of my favorites.
Even though like the new Worms games look pretty awesome. Anyway, so it came out last week, and I thought to myself, "Wow, this game looks a lot like another game that I really like." It
So I'm
should
gonna
be-
like this one.
right? And I was not entirely correct. So I was a big fan of Pilot Wings back in the day.
Oh yes, I fucking love Pilot Wings.
Right, so for the original Super Nintendo, right, Pilot Wings, like one of the launch games, like wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Mode 7 graphics, the ground all
It was
spinning
fucking
around,
mind blowing at
right?
that time.
F-Zero, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was like wow, that's cool. And then Pilot Wings 64, it's like wow, even better.
Absolutely,
spent
yeah.
so much time in that. So it's been a long time since Pilot Wings 64. Mm-hmm. So there was a game that came out that literally styled itself on Pilot Wings as close as they could without being sued.
Right. Okay.
And it's called Pilot Sports.
Oh, Pilot Sports. Okay.
So it is even set on a isolated, nondescript Pacific island that you
With like an airport and mountains
right,
and the whole range.
thing, yeah. a lot of arches you can fly under and
Yeah.
bridges and stuff, and it's like a canyon to fly down. It's like okay, yeah, you have a biplane, you have a jetpack,
In parachute.
parachute,
Yep.
and a hang glider,
Of course. Yeah. Classic.
and that's all you get.
Oh, really? They don't go
Yeah,
anywhere above and beyond that.
No gyrocopter, no was the pogo thing they had? Like,
Oh yeah, the pogo boots or whatever.
whatever it was one of the unlockables towards the end.
Oh yes, and yeah, High Evolution. I totally agree. Pilot Wing 64 definitely not as difficult as the Super Nintendo one, especially as the Super Nintendo one. You ended up being an Apache pilot by the end of the game.
I remember that. No, but I mean, just the addition of an actual analog joystick.
Yes, that
makes
was
a huge difference.
that was a big factor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Just Cause 2 and Just Cause 3 not having a rudder.
Yeah.
Makes a
tricky.
difference. Anyway,
So you have
Pilot
four
Sports.
vehicles.
Yeah. So I'm going to go on record. The game is not a bad game.
Okay.
It's just not a very good game.
It's like the checklist. It's by the numbers, as I call it.
It's like, okay, you know exactly what you... They're trading basically on your nostalgia for Pilot Wings. Because it's been so long since Pilot Wings came out. And if you have it for the PS4, you have it for the Xbox One, you obviously... You probably don't have access to Pilot Wings now.
Yeah.
Like on a Wii Virtual Console or Wii U Virtual Console. I think was the last time it was available.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, you buy it for the PS4, and it's like, okay, it looks like Pilot Wings, and you fire it up. Hey, I'm flying like Pilot Wings. And then the way they've organized the challenges in the game, there are 10 challenges for each level.
Okay.
And you have to get a certain number of gold medals to unlock the next level, which is the next 10 challenges. But it's just the same 4 things over again on various courses.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's like, okay, so I have to do this first level over and over again. And it's like, it's not particularly challenging, but getting 5 gold medals to get access to level 2, that can be a pain in the ass. Because the controls aren't great, and the biplane steers like a cow. I mean, it's a biplane.
The air cow.
Right? You know, you slow down, whatever. You have like it's easy controls. It's like 2 buttons basically, and it gives you the like the little diagram at the start of each level. And you can do like up to 4 player competitive games.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
They have like dogfights, or are you literally trying to do stunt things?
It's just it's just races basically.
Okay.
But it does split screen, so it's like local co-op and stuff, or not co-op, but local play. So I mean, it's just it does not do anything that Pilot Wings 64 didn't do 10 years ago.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a lazy clone shell of what Pilot Wings was.
It's bright and it's colorful and it's kind of superficially as entertaining.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't have enough to do, and the nostalgia isn't enough on its own to recommend the game. So I ended up sitting there and I played it for like an afternoon because I had to play enough of it that I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And I went into the multiplayer mode, and I just, with a second controller, I just started it up.
Right. Yeah, just to experience some of it.
And I could, because you can access all of the levels in multiplayer that you couldn't see in single player.
Right.
So you have access to all 50-something levels, and it's just different iterations of the same thing
it's
over
just
and over
very
again.
samey.
Super samey. Like,
Oh, here we go. Evolutionary actually has a question,
Yeah.
and it's about ratings. So
Sure.
because you were reviewing this game and you reviewed Subnautica and everything too, what's your take on this? I'll let
see,
you read
this
through
is
it
the
there.
thing that I kind of wrestle with, because there are obviously ratings now, especially anything related to graphics and gameplay. There have been innovations in gaming that just were not either thought of or capable to be implemented back in the day, right? So either you don't have enough memory, that your AI isn't as good. You don't have enough memory to do things like crumples, crumple mechanics or destruction mechanics, things like that.
Yeah.
You just couldn't have those features back in the day. And obviously graphics have come like a ridiculous amount of time. Like in the last 2 years even, look at the difference between a PS3 and a PS4, and it's ridiculous. I don't care what people say. It's a ridiculous change.
Yeah.
PS2 to PS3, even more. And it's like now we're just getting into added detail, better
physics and AI are a big factor of that.
especially AI. You know, because you can make your enemies smarter and not just
and
tank your
multiples of them
CPU.
too. Because
Exactly.
before it was like you could have
4 things on the
two or three smart guys on the screen. Now you can have like hundreds if you need. So that's a big difference right there.
So going back to re-rate old games, I mean, you have to really look at that game as a time capsule. Like, it was representative of that time and place, what was possible. Because, I mean, to this day, something like Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, it looks like crap, but it's still a great game with a reskin, like a mod.
They do have an official like mod that they brought out, and it you know, you can still tell it's an old game, but it's much easier to look at now.
Right. It's the same thing even with the original Mass Effect now. You have to install like some aftermarket mods to make it watchable. Because I still go back and I play through the Mass Effect trilogy, like, I don't know, every year, every 2 years or something. And I get through it, but it would be nice. Just give it that level of polish so it looks like a modern game now.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
as we keep asking EA for remasters.
Exactly. Like they did. Well, actually, they did that with Battlezone. So Battlezone and Battlezone 2 Combat Commander. They did that for PC, and that was really nice to see. Because before the game was passable, but you know. You had to get past that initial hurdle that this looks like dog shit.
And ultimately, in my mind, it's a bit of a wash, too, because I understand why games were rated the way they were back in the day, because you're right, they were kind of an investment, because you weren't just rating the game itself, you were kind of trying to rate it higher because it's worth playing. It's not just like, oh, it's really nice graphics and really nice sound and stuff like that. Like a lot of those games, like it was important that you had a game that lasted more than a weekend, because it was either too short or way too fucking hard to get anywhere. So ratings were kind of they kind of slipped into that a little bit. Whereas later on, you started really kind of grading games on all of their elements. I take a completely different approach to it. I don't try to put like a hard number on things as much. I try to kind of speak about kind of 3 core benefits of the game, and then I suggest other games that are in the realm, and they're like, if you like these, you'll probably like this game, because I'm a little more freeform about it. I'm not about like, here's the score, this is what you should believe. It's like, no, here's my experience with the game, and if you like these, you'll probably like it too. There you go. Like,
unfortunately, Metacritic doesn't take into account mouthfeel.
No, and that's kind of there. Mine is mouthfeel. Yours is a hard score.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean,
but I also don't submit to Metacritic. So.
But I mean, nowadays you look at things like the highest rated games of all times. You get Ocarina of Time up there, and that was a great game back in the day.
Yeah.
But you compare that to any modern Zelda game, and that is hot garbage. I don't care what people say, and I know I'm shitting on a lot of people's nostalgia.
Millions.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. And Ocarina of Time, for its time, was revolutionary. It was awesome. Nowadays, it is a relic, and it's difficult to approach with a new player and have him appreciate it to anywhere near the same level you would back then. It's like, if you look at the PS1 graphics back in the day, I remember Siphon Filter being an amazing game. If I were to play it now, I would probably go, oh my God, this is so horrible to watch. A crispy 15 frames a second.
I don't have as much of a problem with the 64 because it doubles what the PlayStation does. So it's like, it runs a little smoother. You're pumping more polygons and stuff. There are certain games that definitely have slowdown in them, but
it's that whole I don't worry about textures thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, that's a bit of a trade-off. But either way, again, it's, some nostalgia goes. I'll still go back and play. And if you want to introduce a new player to either Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, get them to play the 3DS versions, because they did a remaster, reskin everything. So.
Tron's saying he's calling me out. Must meet you outside Hyrule Castle. Start talking
break your ass like a pot.
I'll just drop the fucking moon on you, and that'll be that.
Well, that'll take 3 days though.
Oh, fair enough. Try again. All right. That is our show for this week, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves. If you wanted to reach out to us, ask us some questions, give us some suggestions, you can reach us on Twitter at @digital_fiasco. If you like what we do, let us know. And if you don't like what we do, tell us anyway. But tell your friends, tell your fellow gamers.
We need to man up and play Manic Miner. I'll have to take a look for that. I don't even know what that is.
I mean, I played Motherload. I don't know if that's the same thing.
In my mind, that seems like it would be the same thing, but I'll look up what it is, and I'll... maybe if I get a chance to play it, I'll talk about it on the show next
PS4
week.
version of Motherload was actually Super Motherload was really good.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. They added a bunch of shit to it. Anyway, you interrupted me in the middle of my spiel.
Please, carry on.
That's okay. Anyway, if you like what we do here, please tell your friends, tell your fellow gamers, spread it around. We appreciate all of your support. If you don't like what we do here, tell us. We want to hear what we could do differently, what we can improve. But yeah, that is our show, brought to you by PSU.com. You can go out there and check out the remainder of that interview with Hono-san.
Yeah.
I was quite proud of that.
Absolutely worth a read. You did a killer job on it.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm looking forward to the next interesting thing.
And Janus Breen just doesn't like you.
Thanks, High Evolutionary.
No way to improve that.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully we'll see you come by again. And, and thanks to everyone who stopped by the chat today. I had a really good discussion.
Come by every Monday night.
Indeed. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we do Digital Fiasco Live.
Thanks, Janus Breen.
Tomorrow...
Love you too.
Well, at least we know where his ire lay. Tomorrow, Comic Sans will not be on the air. We are now just deciding what we're going to do instead. We're going to do something... It might actually be the first ever actual episode of Night Talk with Jack McBastard.
Some smooth jazz, some games, and some questions.
We are actually going to rely on people hopping into the Discord and actually asking questions, and we'll do a discussion live on the air. It doesn't have to be about games. It could be about anything. It's Night Talk. Anything goes. If not, if we don't get enough people, I'll just play a goddamn game. So
with some smooth
jazz optional at that point. Wednesday, of course, we'll have Player's Guide live. That'll be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And Thursday, we're actually going to have Janus Breen here in the studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we may do a special edition of Why Would You Play That, where he has to play some kind of shitty game that he's been bitching about. Kenny G night. No, God. Oh, God. Kenny G, I'm actually thinking he'd probably sue us, but I'm sure I've got some kind of smooth jazz that I have a license for. In for throwing gas in the dumpster fire. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. But tune in tomorrow for Night Talk with Jack McBastard, or I'll play... If that doesn't work out...
Jack versus.
It'll probably be Mutant Year Zero if that doesn't work out. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, that'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But till then, we're just going to be out for the night. I'm Jack McBastard.
And I'm Dandr0id.
And we are Digital Fiasco. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate all of you. And we will see you next time.
Love your faces.
Before we go, we're going to pass the love along to someone here in Winnipeg. So stick around and hop on the raid. Good night, folks.